Who will win? Who's going to be victorious? Find out as we're going to be heading into our first map, Border, with NIP up against M80.
Welcome back to our amazing esports arena in Riyadh. This is Gamers8, of course, featuring Rainbow Six. My name's Ian Chambers. This is Fancy, and we've already had 2 best-of-3 series here on the stage, not to mention everything that's been going on the B stream. And this is only day 1. We've still got 3 days more of action to come after this. Do you think you could teach me Arabic in 3 days?
It's not going to be easy, but I'll try my best. That's what I can promise. أعزائي المشاهدين رجعنا لكم من جديد في المسرح. الآن جاهزين أن نقدم لكم ثالث مباراة بس 3 اليوم. المباراة هذه بيكون عندنا فرصة نشوف مين الفائز الأول اللي بيتوجه معنا إلى البلاي أوفز، لأنه خلاص انتهينا من مرحلة الجروب الأول، والفائز الحين على طول بيكون عنده فرصة يضمن المركز الرابع معنا في البطولة من أصل 8 فرق.
Fancy, this is where it gets serious. This next best of 3 is for a spot in the playoffs. Let's introduce our first team. The hype train rolls into Riyadh. It's a chance to show why everyone is talking about them. Ladies and gentlemen, it's M80! This team believes in themselves just as much as their supporters do as they make their way down the stage. Fronted by the man that many call the Wonder Kid of Siege, Spoit, but he's got a very strong roster behind him.
من البرازيل إلى الرياض عاصمة المملكة العربية السعودية متواجدين الآن فريق M80 للمنافسة على أول مقعد معنا في البلاي أوفز. سواء بتواجد الفريق هذا، تعرف أن الجيم بيكون من أحمس ما يكون. أي لاعب من الريجن هذا بيكون لاعب جدا متميز، لكن بتواجد سبويت معنا في المسرح الحين، تعرف أنه الجيم بيكون من مستوى ثاني.
Their opponents aren't going to make this easy for them.
It's not going to be easy for them. أعزائنا المشاهدين، جاء الوقت أننا نقدم الفريق الثاني معنا. خلونا نشوف مين بيكون الفريق. ما هو غريب على المسرح، شفناهم اليوم، بس خلونا نشوفهم مرة ثانية. أبطال العالم السابقين أعزائنا المشاهدين فريق NIP.
Again, a nice crowd reaction here. NIP, despite defeating Falcons on their home turf a little bit earlier on here today, and they were looking very strong. A nice 2-0 clean victory leaded them into this position here on the stage once again in a spotted for a chance to make it into the playoffs.
2-0 كانت نتيجة المباراة لصالحهم في أول مباراة معنا في هذا الحدث ضد فريق فالكونز، الفريق الحاصل على المركز الثاني في السنة الماضية، والفريق اللي هزم أبطال العالم في السنة الماضية. إذا يقدرون يخلصون المباراة وانسايدد لهالدرجة مرة واحدة، يقدرون يسوونها مرة ثانية، بس هالمرة خصمهم M80 اللي توه هازم فريق G2 اللي بيكون عنده فرصة عالية إنه يفوز المباراة بالكامل.
So NIP, of course, beat Falcons earlier on. M80 over here beat the world champions in G2, and they got loud afterwards. I heard it all happen. Guys, you can go and take your seats and get ready for this one. Best of luck, M80. Best of luck to NIP. I'm going to throw over to the casters, and I know you're going to do the same.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. يعني أعزائنا المشاهدين الآن راح نتوجه عند المعلقين نتكلم عن المباراة هذه. حطوا بالكم الفائز يبي يكون ضامن المركز الرابع ويبي يكون أول مقعد للبلاي أوفز معنا في هذه البطولة. توفيق لهم على طول مع المعلقين.
Ian, Fancy, thank you very much indeed. It is once again XR Troika joined here on the cast with none other than Demo. And we are going to be running through this upper bracket final here and now for Group A. What a day it has been already, Demo. And we've still got another best of 3.
Been a quick day. Well, on A stream it has been. B stream not as much. As we know, Kag W7M still currently being played, and then we still have G2 and Falcons over in the B stream still to go through today as well. At least, so still plenty more Siege to go. But here in the A stream, it's our final game of the day, and it's a good one. It is a very good one. Obviously, a rematch from what we've seen at Copenhagen. Both of these teams did square up against each other, but it was NIP who came out on top. M80, we know it was a disappointing major for M80, considering that they did place first in North America. And for them, that team who we thought, yeah, they're going to make a real dent in this competition, and they didn't make it to the main stage. Really, really under hitting, you know, where they should be as a team with the quality that they have.
Underperformed for sure, and this is a chance at redemption. Speaking of performance, I think for me personally, Demo, NIP, did they overperform at Yonkoping?
I want to say no, because they've always had a good LAN record, haven't they? It's qualifying to LANs in the regular stage.
Yes.
That's where NIP.
This is the thing. If you're an NIP fan, you'll be very used to the roller coaster journey that is being a fan of theirs. Is that you go down during the regular stage, best of ones, you get a little bit low. It happens. It's when the tournament kicks in, it's when the best of 3s kick in that you really ride that high. NIP, they showed us that this morning. They had a fantastic showing against Falcons. M80 versus G2, a very long drawn out affair. I think over 4 hours for a single best of 3 demo.
Yeah.
It's got to be mentally draining, that.
It is, and obviously we know NIP, they got the game done pretty quick today.
Well, 30 minutes?
Yeah, you know,
Not quite. It was an hour or so.
You know,
maybe an hour and 20, but
there's levels.
It was rapid. 7-1, 7-2.
So, I mean, they've been waiting for a good while now, haven't they? You know, NIP to really get into it again.
Maybe back to the hotel. Quick swim.
Quick dip in the pool.
I'm not sure. These guys have had plenty of time on their hands.
There's stuff to get up to around this area that we're at, Ollie, isn't there? There's
absolutely. Take a walk down the boulevard. There's plenty of things to do.
You want to go and win something at the fairground? We've got it.
You were buzzing over the little fairground, weren't you, with all the fluffy toys?
Back home.
Yeah, you're back on the market stand.
The roots.
Absolutely. G2 on the flip side, they played M80 earlier on. They were unsuccessful. M80, a 2-1 result there in that game. 7-4 Villa. And then they lost the Cafe 7-4, and it was a 7-5 Clubhouse for M80 to seal the deal. So M80 have already been through the ringer. They're not the longest games demo, they're not the longest map, 7-4, 7-5. It's a fairly concise map. I think that the last map was definitely one of the more telling ones. It was really going down to the wire. It looked like it could have gone either way. That had the most potential for overtime. But I think it was just the long, drawn-out nature of that is going to be quite tiring. And M80, of course, have to combat that and come into an NIP that, for all intents and purposes, what did they play, 7-1 or 7-2?
Well,
they barely played this morning.
This is the thing. We kind of have this debate now. M80 had a massive win against G2, and you think of the boost of confidence that's going to do for them?
Oh, you could see, we could hear Iconic from where we were sat.
Yeah.
In the back room, we could hear the B stream kicking off, and we were like, we know who's won, because that isn't Alamar screaming, that isn't Doggy screaming, that's Iconic going mental.
Yeah, so it's a tricky one, because obviously they're going to have a lot of momentum because they've got that first win over a massive team. NIP, we kind of mentioned earlier, yes, they beat Falcons, but Falcons is not on the same caliber as some of the other teams at this event. Yeah, that's not me bashing on Falcons, but I'm not going to sit here and say that, yeah, Falcons may have the home advantage, but there's teams here who, they've earned that respect from me. You know, you look
You've
at
got some of the biggest hitters here right now.
You've got W7M, you've got BDS, you've got G2. Of course, probably you would say Liquid NIP. Obviously, we've seen how that went.
You've got to give it to NIP,
People would have said Liquid, obviously going into the qualifiers, but NIP are the team that ended up here, rightfully so. We cast that game. We gave full credit to NIP. You know, we have been very critical of this side in the past because they haven't hit that expectations. Ever since SI21, we've seen that degrade.
Well, I mean, you're a Nest fanboy, so...
We've seen that degrade of NIP, but they played great Siege against Nest. They played great Siege against them. And rightfully so, they get their ticket here. And this, for me, this is to see if NIP are actually gonna do something. This is it.
I think for me that's a really important point to get onto now, is you can look at some of the games that we've had on the A stream so far today, and we haven't seen M80 on the A stream. They played their first game on the B stream. You look at the Oxygen BDS game.
Do we dare say BDS got pushed today? Did BDS still have to go through the ringer?
Well, there's an argument here to say that Oxygen didn't put the best performance up today, and that BDS maybe didn't get pushed and tested. NIP certainly didn't get pushed and tested. They never had to fire from behind. There was only a handful of rounds where they didn't hold a man advantage, and one of them was the final round that they won. So there is that sort of question mark over NIP, at least for this moment, of what have you got? You know, we know that you've got a good game of Siege in you, we know that you can play, but what happens when something goes wrong?
You beat the kids.
Yeah, what happens when something goes wrong, and what happens when you've got to
Yeah.
really start to adapt on the fly when you're going up against an aggressive, opportunistic team like M80?
NIP and their playstyle has been obviously a hot topic, and I think Jesse kind of mentioned it a little bit where, you know, even Jesse talked about how slow they can be at times, you know, that old NIP. We didn't really see that today. NIP today were so clean today and how they were setting things up. You know, we've seen a lot of the calm before the storm moments where they can be sat there in these positions. Sure, not a lot's happening, but we know the inner workings and how that team sets up. But they're against a team like M80. They've got some clever people on that side. Obviously, you're going to look at your Spoit and Iconic, because those are the two ones that they brought in. Yeah, you're making a big statement. You're picking up Iconic after the year that he had last year. Spoit speaks for himself, naturally. But you've still got that core of the Brazilians. You know, Kino, in terms of support players in NA, he's up there. You know, finding a good support player these days is
Did you just say NA? I thought this was Brazil versus Brazil.
It's a grey area. Grey area in what we have in NAL.
You did a little interview, actually. You did a little bit of content for anyone that's been watching all day and had us on in the background. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. But you may or may not have seen a little bit of content the demo was doing. You got to ask a lot of the players questions, didn't you, yesterday?
They gave me a sofa.
You got to spend a good bit of time. You got a sofa, a microphone, some headphones. You played some fun games right up your street with the game shows. You're in your element. You had a little bit of an interview with Kino, didn't you?
No, well, actually, this is where I'm going to give credit because you don't see him. So you'll see the interviews of just the player by himself, and you'll sat in like the nice chair. Fresh did all those.
Oh, okay.
So you don't see Fresh, but Fresh is behind the camera doing all those questions. So we kind of took half and half. I said to them, okay, what's going to happen today is you're going to go with Fresh and do something boring, and come with me and do something fun.
So you were playing it off like, I'm the cool guy. Like, you got to get through the work with Fresh, and then we can come and have some fun.
He's like the English teacher, and I'm the science teacher. We're going to blow stuff up. You know, that's the levels that we're at. But you have to give credit to Fresh. People don't know that. Fresh took his first time doing a bit of media. Good on him.
We love Fresh.
We were doing that, and you were in your bed.
Resting up.
You were resting up.
Yeah, resting up. Then we're just waiting for a couple of the players to get themselves into the lobby.
Should we talk about the first map? Bit of Border?
I wasn't expecting to see Border.
I love Border.
I like Border. I like Border as much as the next guy.
This is a great map, I think, for M80. This is right up their street. That
Yes.
kind of fast and aggressive play style, which Border is, it's going to be great for them. I think Ying will be abused massively. You'll start seeing, you know, smokes come in, Monties could come in. NIP, because it is so fast, you would say that NIP will need to play that way, so it's a little bit out of their comfort zone. There's no, you can't go slow and methodical on Border. It's not going to work like that. But one thing that I do worry for NIP in a map like Border, this is all about holding your position and winning the first engagement.
Yeah.
On defense, if you lose the first man, the whole thing topples over because there's so many power positions you need to hold to take away from the attackers. NIP were very good earlier today in the opening engagement. They won 15 out of 16 opening engagements. What a stat line.
It's fantastic.
What a stat line. However, there's a big difference between going against Joker and Spoit.
Yes.
That's what we have to keep them back to. It's way too early to grasp how good NIP are.
You've seriously leveled up the entry game here when you look toward a team like M80, because not only have you got Spoit, but you've got players around him enabling him, and that is where things start to become deadly. You can be the best aimer in the world, but if you haven't got a teammate with you that's feeding you that information, whether it's on a drone or attack, or working with you on the defense, it's going to come unstuck quite quickly.
Yeah.
And that's where Border really, for me, is going to be a good leveling ground for both these two teams as to, one, how are NIP going to keep up with that, because they did fantastically this morning. There's no reason why that should slow down, but they're going to be going up against much stiffer competition
Great
here.
ban.
It's in a Ying ban demo.
Great ban. M80 will abuse that. NIP taking it off the table immediately. Rightly so, because they are defense first. So it makes sense that they're going to make sure that Ying's going to be disabled. Sure, you may say, oh, but then we'll get the Ying. You want to try and pull back 6 rounds, 5 rounds after being rinsed by said Ying? No, you don't.
It could be too late at that point. M80 going to go with the Monty ban.
Again, makes sense.
A great ban. We saw a little bit of Monty earlier this morning from NIP. We know them of old to be a very good shield team. I feel like Julio sort of planted that seed and has watched it grow into a beautiful oak tree now.
Not seeing many Monties from M&M though, are we? It hasn't carried over.
No, he's not going to get used on a Monty, are you? Let's be honest. But Mirror coming in as the second ban. and his army to round things out. So we are left with the Solace. Can be devastating on this map.
We're at the stage where there's so many good defenders.
There's too many.
You know, more bans, please.
Valkyrie just gets let through now, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, you've got a Valkyrie.
I mean, I don't think Valkyrie. I must be the only one who thinks Valkyrie. She's okay. I wouldn't say she's like mass. I think she's like A tier. She's not S tier.
I think it's in the bracket of needing something, looking
well,
at.
The thing is with Valkyrie is teams have just been bringing bulletproofs to fill in for that.
Yeah,
you know, I don't think you really get the full like value out of like free cameras. As long as you have one that you know it's going to be a blind spot in your setup, that's really all you need. So that's what teams bring. Look, Fenrir, what does he have? The old bulletproof.
And we speak about all these new and fancy operators with the great gadgets on the defense, and Psycho still rocks back to the dock. But you know what? All I want, I just want a stim pistol.
Doc's very good for the way that I assume M80 will attack this. If they play Psycho in a kind of position where he will be very prone to nades, for example, in the Brazil position, as you can see right beside the hatch, M80 will try and go below and nade him from below. Doc can stim himself over that. So if he knows there's going to be a nade incoming, stim up, doesn't get killed. Even playing right here where he is by the dash by Banana, you can stim yourself up. So I do like the fact that they're kind of counter-playing what M80 will do, and that is go below.
Yeah, they know there's going to be a big focus on those nades. It's not always viable to have a Wamai or an ADS in that position, and Doc can be often the best way of dealing with that, especially when you have the Azami removed. You then left with a much more limited option of how you can hold on to CCTV. You need to keep a body in there.
Yeah, pretty good setup from NIP. I like the extension across, making sure that you have pretty much the control of every position in top floor. You're extending right towards office. You're going to open up that triple wall. Don't give them that freedom of being able to set up and push. Just try and keep them at the building for as long as you can. Yeah, there's the Doc in the position I expected to see. You also note that NIP, they've reinforced the hatch. Ollie, that's very, very important if you're playing that position. If you leave it soft, all it takes is, you know, Spoit to go below, ash it, and then that's a line of sight that you can play against the defender in that position, looking right onto the rotate hole. So, little tip for everyone, make sure that hatch is reinforced if you do intend to play there. And as expected, M80 downstairs they go, Ollie, with those nades.
Straight downstairs to try and get something working. We see Gomez just trying his hand at one there at the top of those stairs.
I haven't used them for the Doc, Ollie. That's both nades wasted and they've done nothing.
It's kind of surprising, really, isn't it? Kino, he's looking to try and make some sort of an entry in here through break, just holding the cross for the meantime, but the defenders, they're not being given too much of a reason to move right now. Kino's got himself in quite a nice little spot here. He has the potential to jump out on Diaz, and I'm not entirely sure if Diaz is aware of that. Spoit has got a great line from the top of East, just cutting right down long corridor. Going to open himself up a little bit of a line of sight to work with as well.
Oh, the trigger of the Fenrir gadget as Gomez tries to make a dash towards East, but there's Kino, jumps straight in the window. We catch him trying to go for the stim mid-gunfight. Kino finds another, and there's Gomez who slipped right through break. Finds two, no, never mind. Cons is there to shut him down, but there's still going to be a player on the ground. Cons has to try and dip in here and get another kill back for his team, as Iconic does finish off the down player, but no, Wizard gets eliminated, and down goes Cons. M80 in a flurry. Just kill everything that moves.
Fast and fierce, that's what we were expecting here from M80. Spoit straight into the top of those east stairs, moving his way through, devastating inside of Fountain. Dare I say that NIP looked a little bit flat-footed there, Demo?
They didn't really move their positions, did they? They all just stayed still, and M80, I think they realized, right, there's one guy by himself. Let's just send 3 people at him. He can't kill us all. And, you know, Doc, very fortunate, I think, to catch the Doc mid-stim, which always is going to help them. But like I said, as soon as one player dies, you lose so much map control. Look, you lose control of security, and then there's a direct line of sight right into Fountain to get a guy killed. That's what I'm talking about. It's the layers. We've seen them playing Jenga earlier with Chambers behind the scenes. That's what it's like. You take the wrong piece out and it's gone. It's done.
The best thing about that is that I don't think that M80 did anything to the map. We saw a Selma charge get thrown right at the
Some
end.
very limp grenades being tossed around it that
But
nobody...
in terms of destruction, it wasn't like they had a book that was going to make it. They were just utilising these lines of sight that NIP have left open.
Kills and teamwork.
Yeah.
That was it. Friendship. The power of friendship, which we know that's what NA at the moment is powered on, is friendship.
NIP, they're going to have to go for a slightly different approach here. Going to be going downstairs. There's a first port of call.
Your favourites on the board?
Capcan. There's some cracking Capcans
They're
on
on
board.
board.
There are some real.
Because there's doors that you don't believe are doors, but they are doors.
They don't look like doors.
Talking about that upstairs corridor, aren't we? Towards east.
A little double.
There's double doors there, which are indeed doors. It doesn't look like it because they are massive doors, but door's a door. No matter how big, how small.
I've got a Brava though. Ooh, Gomez. You're going to do your homework. You almost can't believe his luck there. He's only spotted one Fenrir. Spoit, he's going to find the opener onto Pino. Better hope that all those Capcans have been placed because that's the only value you're going to get from him now, especially given that C4 goes with him, Demo.
Psycho trying to get a kill back, goes the run out towards east, but nobody's there. M80 have got that pretty locked down well, you know, using the Dokkaebi, making sure that they can play slow. And that's the way I think M80 like to play, is they will have that good, you know, backline. Usually Diaz and Kino will play the more supportive operators, such as Lions, such as Dokkaebi, who are there to enable the likes of Gomez, the likes of Icon, the likes of Spoit. Very passive. The supports will wait until their fraggers are ready to go. Then they'll move in together with them.
Iconic's in the site with the diffuser here. This is a little bit worrying, especially if you're an IP. We're going to see a Lion scan come out. Spoit finds himself onto Wizard. A triple down, making it 3 as the kills continue to flood in. The plant's gone down. NIP, where were you? The site was occupied fully there by M80 for a good portion of time, and NIP didn't seem to have a clue. Now, is that going to be an exit frag, Muzi, or are you going to try and do a little bit more with it? You've got 30 seconds and 4 kills to find. Full white flashed at the top of these stairs. Hits the prone, the Lion scan roots him in place. Every second that ticks by, this is looking more and more unachievable. Takes an engagement on the stairs, picks himself up another. At this point, he's padding his stats. He's going for kill records because that's all it is ever going to be. With 10 seconds on the clock, long angles being held. It's Diaz to pick him up as he makes his way down those east stairs. That is a worrying sign from NIP.
They don't move. They're not active. They're just... Here's the thing. I credit NIP earlier whenever they played against Falcons, where they were playing, everyone played their positions really well. Everyone was able to say, okay, I'll play this position, I'll hold this, I'll hold that. That works really well if you get your kills. If you don't get your kills and you start losing the opening engagement, which they've done twice now, then that's where issues start to happen. NIP need to realize that if things are not working and you lose a player, you need to go and get that kill back, especially against M80.
Spoit got 3 kills walking in main door. Something that I've noticed about the way that M80 are playing at the moment, we saw it around the bourne with the Fenrir, we saw it then with Spoit. Something like a proximity alarm, a whoop whoop, or a Fenrir gadget. These guys just don't care. They just move through it.
Look, Spoit is a player.
It doesn't matter.
The way Spoit plays the game is Spoit will go off and do something and he'll say, guys, could I do this? His team will then do everything they can to see if he can, and then they'll let him go and do it. That's the way they operate. Spoit, look, he sat outside main door, he waited to ask, guys, could I just walk in main door here? And they're like, hold on, someone drone for him, Dokkaebi call goes in, Lion call goes in, he's straight in and he kills him. That's the way they operate. They enable Spoit. They allow him to do what he does best, and that is just kill everything. That's it.
Iconic this time getting a good amount of value out of the Brava. Couple of gadgets there rendered useless for the time being. Diaz this time.
Another opening
Seems
kill.
to be just take your pick. Who wants to get the opening kill because it's going to be on to Pino. Pino currently sitting 0 and 3. Gomez gets himself into a skirmish, dips himself out of back room there. As M80, they're not seeing too bad success here just from outside to in. They haven't really committed to the map yet. 50 seconds. They still chip down a good number of hit points and taking Pino out in the process.
Just look as if M80 are just probing where they want to attack. You know, they're kind of just running around the building. I'll check this window, I'll check this window. We'll see if we can find a pit. They're not really committing to any one direction, which is probably the way you want to play Border. You know, you want to try and give yourself as many options as you can. There's a lot of different doorways, there's a lot of angles you can get, and obviously I think with Buck being open, you know, we just seen there, Gomez jumping in bathroom can open up that wall into bathroom, has a long angle, stuff like that. That's going to help you a lot.
And M80 don't need to commit to that because they know they can come back to it later when it's maybe a little bit of a better time for them. Cons hasn't done a terrible job of keeping himself alive here. He's still operating in and around the site. which sounds like a crazy thing to say that he's kept himself alive in the site for a couple of minutes, but with the way that M80 have been playing, that hasn't always been too easy. He's seen quite a bit of pressure in down there. We've now got Kino and Gomez looking to make their way into Armory potentially. Psycho's still trying to hold down onto this top floor, but he seems to be lacking a little bit of information here. Certainly isn't aware that Spoit's going to be swinging the corner. A couple of shots traded between them both, and this is when Gomez can come in for the pinch.
Psycho has to win this engagement to try and keep his team in it now. Ollie to make himself aware, and it's not a favourable engagement as the rest of his team starts going down. And look, the diffuser's getting planted. M80 have they've slipped in these plants, Ollie, and NIP are not ready for it.
The plant is successful there. Wizard might get the kill, but it isn't really going to matter. Gomez from above, along with Spoit, has great access onto the plant here.
Yep.
Good visibility as well. Spoit just holding the plate at the top of those main stairs right now. It's going to get peeked and taken out there, but Gomez, he's on a tear. He's picked up 3.
Shotgun.
Wizard. Sorry, Muzi, he's now going to have to go for that retake, just avoids the flash for the time being, but there isn't going to be enough time left for him really to affect onto anything here. Gomez might find his 4th, drops prone, and will do just exactly that. It wouldn't have mattered too much if he'd have found the kill either way there. The clock was ticking. M80, another round where they just get themselves into sight, find all the space in the world, get that plant down.
It's too easy. This, I'm getting deja vu, but it's like it was NIP did this to Falcons earlier.
Yeah.
Now we've got the reverse split. M80, all credit to them. The way they're seeing the game. They're just waiting for the opportune moment, aren't they? And this is what we worry about NIP. NIP are a team which have not adapted to the new meta. The way M80 are playing, this is the way you'll see G2 play. This is the way W7M will play. This is why BDS, I think earlier, this is why they were playing. They were seeing moments where they could just walk in and do things. Exactly the same. This is the way you need to play Siege. This is it, everyone.
You got to forget the rules of need to take top floor, need to clear everyone out.
It's done.
If there's a
That
gap,
doesn't
if
exist.
there's a space in the site and there's no one occupying that space, get in and get the diffuser down.
You have to seize the moment. Carpe diem.
Don't even start. NIP, they are going to seize this moment for a timeout. Probably not a bad time. 3 rounds down. You've seen half of the defense. You can't really afford to go 6-0 down here on border. You're going to want to get a couple of attacks under your belt. So they used that time for a little bit of a chat. Try and steady the ship. Try and bring a little bit of confidence back from this morning, because they were exuding confidence this morning, Demo. They couldn't put a foot wrong, and now it feels like they have entirely shifted onto that other side. Whereas before we were saying NIP, they can't lose a gunfight. It now looks like they can't win a gunfight.
Whenever we highlight players such as Pino, who are always going to be in for a look at having a good game just because he's a great player. He's a 1-3 always. Not good to see. I mean, obviously M80. I mean, Iconic hasn't got a kill yet, but he hasn't really had to do much all day.
I think he's had 2 plants, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, he jumped in just in the site, and I think Kino planted last round, if I'm not mistaken. He was on the Dokkaebi, which Dokkaebi and Lion, great combination for Border. You know, we've mentioned before, Border it's an opportunistic map where you have to play fast. You don't need no hard reach, you need no fervent, no faction, none of that. Bring the things which are going to get you kills.
It's a great combination anywhere, isn't it? Look toward that Lion Dokkaebi combination, especially with the secondary utility that they can bring now as well.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily looking to get walls open here, but the secondary EMPs can be really nice for even just mute jammers.
Even a Gone 6 as well, which they get, which is great to have. Both of them, 2 Gone 6s for if there is the odd shield, which as we know, there hasn't been a lot of smoke. That we've
Smoke's no shield.
Yeah, no shield, but it's hitting quite hard, hasn't it?
I think we saw him a little bit on Cafe from NIP. And a little bit on Chalet as well.
Yeah,
I do remember
but
a little
not
bit Chalet,
the same caliber that we're
considering
used to
you've gone from seeing Smoke as like an 80% picked operator to now we can barely remember a couple of rounds where he was.
Look, having the hatch reinforced, he's safe, he's not going to get naded. This is exactly what they wanted, but once again, Spoit.
Watch out for the wall.
He's revived until Spoit. Pistol!
Oh, Spoit's been caught there.
He's panicked. There's about 3 players.
Baited in. Muzi's done a great job there of actually getting some value out of that, because Psycho was probably dead either way, but the fact that Muzi's actually gone in and challenged that, it means that it's just been neutralized a little bit. Gomez taken out elsewhere as first blood as well. First time NIP have that man count advantage. We've got half the round left to try and cling on though, and M80, we know that they aren't done yet. They're still looking for those outside to in angles.
Still got Dokkaebi call, still got a Lion charge they can use. A nade. Maybe Iconic to try and get one nestled in. Diaz towards east now. Maybe they're thinking of going for an east side attack. Kino's also with him, looking to push in towards office. Oh no, Pino just gives himself up, Ollie. Needless, I would describe that as.
It's a little bit soft, isn't it? Kino going to find
dear.
himself one onto Cons as well, and all of a sudden the tables have turned. Muzi, he's going to be able to rotate there out of CCTV and think about
Kino.
moving through, but Kino catches him at the right time. It's a bit of unfortunate timing there from Muzi. He looked a little bit stuck as to whether he was going to go into office and fountain or whether he was going to commit a little bit further to the attack. M80, they have pulled around out of nowhere. How? How?
3 versus 4. I mean, I think Pino started that. That was where the
It was a bit of
floodgates
a
opened.
needless peak, wasn't
You
it?
don't need to do that. You know, I think Psycho being able to get the kill, and I would give him like the kill assist for this. He didn't shoot Spoit at all, but we'll give him the kill assist just because he was a pain. But moments like that, it's just, yeah, it's... I don't know. What was he... I don't know.
Especially on the rewatch there, that was very needless. And especially, you know, you think about Muzi maybe getting caught out there. He suffered some real bad timing. But the damage was already done. You know, you've got Diaz pushing through that quad wall as well. It would have been nice to see NIP just back themselves off to site a little bit. But I think with the pressure that M80 are applying to all areas of the map,
That's what you
it
need
can
to
be
do,
very
yeah.
difficult to do that. And especially if crosses are being held. If you know, right, we're at a deficit, they have an advantage, they should be rotating back to site now. Let's hold a couple of rotates for a few seconds. Bish bash bosh, you've got yourself a couple of kills.
Diaz hasn't died yet. This is an Iron Man match from him. Could be. See if he can do it. But boy, M80. I mean, I see border. I just think, yeah, it's going to favour them. This is right up their street. Yes. I think NIP thought, right, if we get the Ying, we could maybe get some rounds here. But nope. Nope. Still, they can adapt to. And again, M80, just that Lion and Dokumi combo has been deadly, hasn't it? It's been really, really strong for them. And again, Spoy has just been getting stuck in, looking for those opportune moments. Spoy's almost, on border especially, he's almost just adapted, I'm going to go do my own thing role, hasn't he?
Not a bad role to get yourself into. You've got to work quite hard to get there. And the team has got to give you that space to do it and pick up the slack from where you sort of let it off. Because if you're not working as the team, there are going to be a couple of areas that are missed.
We look at that major win that Rogue had. What was the big thing that Rogue did well? They enabled Spoy.
Yeah.
What are M80 doing?
Exactly
There you
the
go.
same.
They're playing to the strength. You build around this kid because
I don't know if the Spoils are having the best game on the side at the minute. No one's having a bad game.
I know.
You look at Kino,
But it's
6
just
and 2,
everything's clicked.
Diaz,
Yeah.
4 and 0. Like, there's got to be a time where you wonder as NIP, like, are we trying a little bit too much here? Are we trying to hold a little bit too much of the map? You've not really got much choice on this map. We see a great kill come through as a trade there. Muzi picking up first onto Kino, but Spoit there to collect. We've got Cons hiding inside a break. This double castle barricade strategy is quite a common one,
Yeah,
but
it's good, yeah.
it's very easily dealt with, especially when you bring in an Ash.
It just gives yourself just another layer that you can hide behind border. It's a map that we know is very open, trying to disable some of the angles. I mean, even Psycho casting that double door, it means that nobody towards the east windows are able to kill him, for example. So it's very, very strong to have. And Iconic, oh, just another freebie it seems to be. NIP giving these stupid kills away, Ollie, that they shouldn't be happening. Spoit finds Psycho and Pino in a 1v4, just in a flash. He's probably thinking, where did I end up here?
Unless his entry denials go crazy here, it's going to be very difficult. We see Spoit jumping over the top.
1 man and 5 EDDs, can he do it?
Can he pull it off? Bodega, he's looking over for a reaction. I'm not sure if he's going to get
He's
one.
back standing
or
behind them,
not.
of course.
Of course, yeah, it's been a while since
while.
Bodega stood behind the team.
Get the back rubs in.
Oh dear, NIP. I was expecting a lot more out of this fixture. There's still time yet, of course, it's map 1. It's very early on. It is border. It can flip and flop a little bit. But stuff like this is, I mean, it doesn't matter when you are in the tournament. That shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be going
Lack of
looking.
refrags.
Yeah.
Massive lack of refrags on NIP's part.
You really don't need to be looking too hard for those kills as the defenders. They are going to come to you.
Oh dear. Really was left hanging there. Nobody high-fived them.
That's diabolical. Who's sat next to Spoit? We need to get an action replay on that. Are you a high five guy or a fist bump guy?
I mean, I don't play.
No, but if you played, what would you prefer?
If I did play.
Would you prefer like a high five or like a fist bump?
No, whoever I was upside would have like little handshake.
What, an actual like a little
Five
tap up?
shuffle, stuff
Yeah.
like that. No, if I do, I'd just do a you can't see me kind of vibe.
Round number 6. Last round of the current half. Are NIP going to be able to pick up a round? I honestly hope so. I don't want this to be a blowout fixture.
Hate to break it to you.
I mean, it's looking
I
like
didn't
a
want you to
blowout
find out like
fixture
this,
on
Ollie.
border.
Didn't want you to find out like this.
Yeah.
Finally, NA pulling out some big wins. Jesse Chick, he is currently backflipping in the talent room is what we're told. Can't believe it. Little does he know that there's only one American in this team. Little does he know.
The stack up here looks a little bit dangerous from M80. They could be looking to go fairly direct here. We've got a lot of players stacking up outside of detention. Threat from a nade from below as well, as a little bit of drone work is performed. Cons going to rotate himself back into the side as he really feels that pinch.
Obviously it is customs. M80 I think are going for a much more direct approach. You can see the double hard breach. They're bringing in the thermite because there is a little bit extra that you have to do. Obviously you've got the 2 walls towards passport. You've got that main jail wall also that you need to get opened up. So having the 2 ain't a bad thing to have, of course. Gomez looking to see if he can maybe just eliminate the players above without having to go above. Oh no, Kino has jumped the gun. He's tried to walk in by himself. Nobody with him. Loses out. Spoit will get the refrag. But Cons, he's in the hot seat, Ollie. He is in the midst of it. He needs to make sure that they do not enter through that window and into the B bomb site.
Cons can call out a great amount of information here off the Fenrir gadget as well, but he's got the window to worry about. And even though no one's actively there at the moment, he knows that it's going to be a big problem for later. Is able to catch a good portion of damage over onto Spoit and eventually finish him off with his own nade.
Brilliant
Goes
from
for the
Cons.
aggressive swing, takes Gomez down as well. Surely this is NIP's time for a round. He's getting pretty confident here, even going for a little bit of a peek outside. Iconic, maybe just coming in to try and steady the ship. Don't forget, the diffuser is on the ground cold inside of detention. That was in the hands of Kino as that opening pick, so certainly not ideal. NIP, they just need to hold their nerve here. They don't need to go looking for these kills.
Yeah, but I think Cons is going to be the decider, Ollie. He's in a great position. Diaz is proxied there. Doesn't know where he is. The HP he has, Ollie, I think it's only a matter of time. So NIP have held it well. M80 just really struggling. I think Kino just walked in. He walked in too quick, didn't he? Jumped the gun. Cons obviously got unchecked. Did they not know he was there?
I'm not sure. We thought there might be some sort of a...
Because he had 2 sets of nades. They could have used the nades on the window, but they never went for that. So I don't know if they knew he was there.
Yeah, we kind of got the feeling that there was going to be some sort of a rush around there just due to the stack up outside of detention when the wall got breached. Not sure if it was a misdraw, not sure if it was miscommunication. Maybe M80 just taking their foot off the gas a little bit, seeing as they've seen so much success so far. But it wasn't a terrible attempt. I think Spoit got pretty unlucky because he did get wall banged there as he was going in with the nade, but no one really dealt with Cons effectively. No. And you could maybe credit that to Gomez. He knew that there was a player there inside of supply, so maybe could have done a little bit more to try and work that. There was no intention of going upstairs either. Obviously, one of the easiest ways to clear out supply is to get yourself upstairs. You get a great line of sight in onto the window. You can really flush the players out of there. Not the easiest site to attack, but certainly not up to the standard that we've seen so far from M80 in this matchup. That said, the sides have now switched. NIP, they get the attack.
Yeah, I mean, 5-1, they'll be more than happy with that one. Then they get to go on the defense.
Oh, and look at what they get to play with, Demo. They get a Valkyrie, they get a Solace.
I mean, like, come on. 4 of those operators, probably excluding Mute, are so strong.
It's ridiculous.
They really are. Warden is, you know, so unique in what he can do. Whenever a lot of teams are always going to be running flashbangs, it's going to help you out a bunch. Fenrir, I said before, just he fills the roles of so many, stops rushes, really good against aggression. Obviously as an indicator if someone's pushing a doorway, for example. And just that general fear, I think. I mean, that's what they get. It produces fear toxins, doesn't that? That's what it does. Very smart, that fear produces fear.
Music going to be rocking the IQ. We saw him play this morning quite a bit, especially seeing as Falcons were very fond of the Solace as well. They weren't really able to make it work, though, against NIP.
No.
NIP were very good at dealing with things like the Solace, things like the Fenrir, due to the fact that Muzi was doing such a good job on the IQ.
Of course. This is a bit of an oldie but goldie. We're seeing the old Ossa Shield set up outside of East, ready to see if they can maybe sneak a plant in. But if you want to go for a plant, you need to take below. That's the main thing that needs to happen. There is 3 C4, so triple set to denial that they're going to have to go through. No impacts, though. Spoit issues both as impacts, like that may cause issues with trying to eliminate the Ossa Shield from upstairs.
Pino getting himself into an engagement there with mute as they were just getting a little bit too close for each other's comfort. Muzi going to find the opening pick onto Solace. Not sure if that was off the back of the information from IQ Scanner or not, but it's an opening pick nonetheless. Wizard will fall as well. Kino, he hasn't got a great amount of health here. It's going to be full white flash as he tries to navigate himself through the office. Iconic is there ready and waiting, but Diaz.
It's all about Diaz.
He's in the prime position.
Look, Iconic just moves up. Do they know he's there, though? Because if they don't, I mean, would you believe someone would be there? Would you believe that someone has rotated over to that position? I'm not sure, actually. Maybe Cons does have an idea. Sprays through. No, does not win it against Iconic. He was aiming low. Iconic was aiming high. And, well, all I've got news for you, headshots. All it takes is one bullet for them.
I think Kino did a fantastic job there inside of Office. He was still able to win that engagement despite being 1 HP.
Just you look at NIP. Look how outdated that was.
Very old style push, wasn't it? Real old school.
That was a year ago.
Yeah.
People were doing that a year ago.
But they were doing it a year ago with things like a Claws or things like a Ying and a little bit more disruption. With the Warden available, that's not always such a viable option. We didn't have anybody on Sandwich Repel. We didn't have anybody even pressuring into Armory. Just open the wall.
Look,
you don't have to do too much
if you're
with it.
going for that push, you need someone on Sandwich Window. You need someone ready to maybe go below. You need someone on Vents Window. One guy outside, he's ready to plant. And honestly, you need one guy backstabbing Armory door.
Yeah.
That's the setup that you need.
You could maybe go main stairs.
And the reason why that Armory backstab is so important is to stop players such as that Warden sitting by the half wall, which we knew about with the C4. Last thing he's going to be worried about, if he knows that he has to deny the plant, and there's also a guy on Sandwich Window, last thing he's going to be worried about is a guy walking in Armory, because he's got too many things to think about.
Yeah, the Sandwich Window guy can't do anything about the guy that's playing ready for the plant denial.
You need to put as much pressure on teams as possible.
You're there in case you need it.
You know, you said about NIP earlier, NIP just were flat-footed, they didn't know what to do. Because there was so much being thrown at them. NIP need to do the same. That's how you play Border. Just keep on piling on the pressure to the defenders, because they eventually will crack. Probably one of the only maps where there's moments where, yeah, there's literally nothing you can do. It's one of those maps.
Oh, on Border, you can very quickly find yourself in a position where there's nowhere safe. And you're just running around like a headless chicken as a defender because you just can't find that pocket of safety.
Got so many unwinnable positions.
That's what it felt like when NIP were on the defense. When M80 are on the defense, they're finding these pockets because they're seeing the gaps. They're seeing, oh, there's no one else up there, there's no one coming through arm. Like, oh, we can just chill. Like, we don't have to worry about anything.
Because whenever M8 are a great team at playing Border, you know, if you're not against a team who is equally as good, you will exploit them because you'll know things that they won't.
Potential match point here for M80.
It is match point. Potential match win.
Potential map win.
There you go.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Of course, we do have another map coming at least, potentially two. Depending, of course, on how everything pans out. Spoit playing inside of Office. You know that Cons is crouch walking in. It doesn't look like it. Cons takes advantage there. Is going to lock his sights onto the player on Fountain, but just swings a little bit too deep. Diaz, he's widened his stance so far.
He done so well to get that first pick, and then he does it too much. A great swing from Wizard with that SMG to eliminate Diaz. And oh, what a great shot! Kino ahead, clean off the shoulders. M80 have lost the man advantage. 2 players left, Iconic and Gomez.
It hasn't gone to plan. No. The opening portion of the round, it wasn't looking too bad, but didn't account for was Wizard.
Look where both of them are, Ollie. They're not even in sight. One in vents, one towards customs. What are they thinking here? Maybe a double retake? Is that potential for them?
I mean, the diffuser's in Narnia right now. It needs to be recovered. I think it's outside of
retake.
CCTV.
Double retake.
They're going to have to try and get some control over that diffuser before they start thinking about the next steps. You might have the man advantage, but you don't always want to risk it just coming down to the trades. If you can get the plant down, it's going to help to try and guarantee that a little bit. Looks in the meantime, though, that NIP, they're just trying to find these kills vertically, but instead they're taking a good chunk of damage, and Iconic gets an opportunity he cannot pass up on. An easy free one over onto Pino, and just like that, everything's level. Iconic finds himself down. Gomez is going to be prone, just watching through the drone hole, seeing if he can find anything. The plant is going to start to go down now. He's got a lot of work to do. He's going to get flashed out. There's no rotation for him. It's unforgivable. Full white flashed. He can't challenge off that. Needs to wait for that to dissipate. Hits the pre-fire, but isn't successful. Wizard, 4 kills on the round.
No rotates let him down there. I understand what you're looking very confused. I know why they've not put a rotate. And the reason why is I actually feel as though more attackers actually get value out of that rotate than what defenders do. Because where does that rotate lead into? Right beside a window. A window outside. I can't tell you how many times I've just jumped into sight straight in the bathroom because that rotates there. So without that rotate, you're jumping into a window which is kind of trapped in like a bit of a corridor.
I get it. I get it.
So, but
It would have been nice to have for him at that point, though.
obviously, but I think they plan that they, you know, things do go planned upstairs, as you said they didn't.
Things
That's
go wrong,
why.
yeah.
It's all good in theory.
We need a plan B. Oh,
Wait,
excuse
you didn't
me?
see that?
The diffuser.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's a legal iconic.
He was very good there, wasn't he? Just dancing around the floorboards.
I think Wizards done a great job there.
Yeah, he just said, you know what, someone has to get some kills
Yeah.
here.
Give me the SMG and
Great
watch me
shot.
go.
And that second kill he got with the SMG was brilliant.
Much better round there from NIP. Problem is, M80, they're still on match point. So they've got to try and chain those together, Demo. They need 4 of those in a row if they're going to be successful here on board.
5 seconds remaining.
Need a lot more of them. Need a lot more. It will be the ventilation room and workshop for M80. They brought the bandit in. Is that the potential bandit trick upstairs? Maybe it could be, but I think bandit tricking in this day and age, Ollie, is a bit of a tricky one, obviously with the nades that we have kicking around. Okay, just going to be used just to be a bit of an annoyance more than anything. Very rare you would see EMP grades, you know, on a map like Border. You know, Thatcher is a little bit too slow almost for this map. I almost feel as though like picking a 1-speed in Border, you're asking for pain.
Yeah,
You're asking for it.
You'd see secondary MPs, wouldn't you? But you wouldn't see. I mean, Thatcher's.
But those are limited with some of the more niche operators,
yes,
aren't they?
you know, you'd look at maybe a Lion or a Dokkaebi for that. Dokkaebi's probably going to bring the stuns. He's probably going to get a bit more value out of that.
Yeah.
You could squeeze it into the Lion, but
I mean, even he has flashes then as well, so it's like...
I think the thing about Thatcher that makes me laugh is he's still got an incredible BAM rate. But actually, Thatcher is terrible.
Yeah.
One
I
speed.
still don't know why people are banning
It's
that.
just awful.
I don't get it.
It really
if you're not
makes me
banning
laugh.
Ash and Ward in your ranked games, you're doing it all wrong, by the way.
Spoke with the opener onto Wizard, the star of the show from the previous round, taking out his first blood here. Doesn't bode well for NIP.
Uzi looking for the backstab. Nobody's home at the moment. This is what you want to see, though, from NIP. You need someone lurking around that side of the map. And oh, sees the panda, he shoots a shot, gives himself away. Oh, if he didn't shoot, he could have just waited there for Spoit to run back again.
A little bit of trigger discipline would have gone a long way there. As it stands, bodies continue to fall for NIP. Cons picks himself up 1 free, but he knows that there's a player inside of CCTV.
There's 2.
Just patiently
He's
around
up the
waiting
hatch
for the
for his
rotate.
teammate.
Pino's actually rotated in there as well. The hatch might be open, but it might not be an option here. Muzi, you've got to move quickly here, my friend. Your teammate is about to get caught in a 2 versus 1. Muzi swings through, picks up damage onto the first. Can Cons find the second with the pistol? It's a scrappy fight, but he comes out on top. The diffuser in the hands of Pino. As he's upstairs looking to try and rip open a little bit of that floor in an equal 2 versus 2. Still 40 seconds left.
Diaz is just on the floor while all that's happening. His teammates are in Armageddon. He's just chilling in blue. But, I mean, to be honest, though, that's just what he needs to do. It's NIP who are up against the clock. They're up against the 6th man, as we like to call it, the time. Iconic, that's a good rotate into the corner. Does Cons know about that? He did pull out the gadget there. Cons looking for the swing, will find Iconic. Now it's down to Diaz. It's a good gun to have though, like a 9mm hits like a truck.
Finds himself 1 as Pino does get caught looking the wrong way. You'd hope to see him getting the plant down there. It's going to be Cons trying to do the same instead. The time's likely going to run out for him here. Actually gets off it. He's got 2 seconds to find this kill. Diaz, you got to keep yourself alive or get it. He gets it. Locks it in for M80. A nail biter of a final round.
Scrappy upstairs, scrappy downstairs, Ollie. It wasn't really a scrappy map, M80. Pretty composed for the most part. I mean, they did all the heavy lifting, didn't they, in the attacks? We know that. It was a great showing from the attacks. NIP, I think they need to step up the game. They really need to redefine themselves, because I just think that was Border from a year ago. That's what it felt like. And you're not going to win championships like that. You're not going to. You need to play like the best of them.
I think it also felt like NIP had just come off the boil a little bit. They've definitely slowed down since this morning.
Opening
it was a
kills
long
weren't
time
there.
ago. They weren't really in the server the same way. They weren't as deadly in the gunfight. We saw a couple of questionable decisions being made as well. Never easy to really go up against that. Hopefully, that map 1 serves as a good warm-up for them to get themselves into the rest of this series, because it really isn't all said and done just yet.
But equally, you know, M80 now, they're going to be flying.
Yes.
Getting the first map, good win. I think they'll be very happy with that. I think the coaching staff as well will be very happy with that, because as we know, they put in a lot of work, don't they? You know, Bodega, Pedro in the background. You know, they have their strat book. It's in a box. It's in a box that they carry around. It's like this full thing I've ever seen.
Is that legit?
It's literally have like a box, and inside it's a strat book.
Wow. An actual book?
Yeah.
Not like a digital?
No, like
Wow.
proper paper.
Real old
Actual
school.
paper. They use paper.
Maybe that's the secret sauce. Maybe we're going to get our stats written down on paper again. We're going to see a couple of replays of the game we have just watched. Good little highlight reel. Should be a good few clips from Wizard in here, although he wasn't on the winning side. He certainly had his moments demo. Oh, this one was disgusting.
Best shot of the match.
That was a horror. We've got to have some sort of clip for that, because that was absolutely disgusting.
Great round from
Great
Wizard.
plays all around here. NIP taking a little bit of time
never mind, there's
to
Challenger.
warm up into this, but M80 coming out on top in the end.
Where's the scrappy fight? Here it comes. I mean, Spoy, I'll be honest, he sold Gomez down the river there, has he not? He has completely sold his teammate. But yeah, scrappy one, and then obviously a 1v2 clutch.
15 seconds left.
We're going to go to a quick break. After that, we will be back with the desk.
Welcome to What's That Sound, where we pitch the best players in all the land, and all they have to do is tell us what they hear. It's really quite simple, but we know it's not that easy to find out what you're listening to. In this episode, we are going to have LMs up against Spoits, so 2 Europeans take on one another. Here you go. Are you ready for your first sound?
It's a reload or something, no? Can you do
You
it
want me
again?
to do it again for you?
Yeah. I think it looks like a reload, but it's not.
Observation blocker?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, it's my guess, yeah. Final answer.
And that would be a good guess. That is correct. It was an observation blocker being
Oh,
deployed.
yeah, but I'm not used
So
to
now
it.
we know BDS
Okay.
don't use
No,
observation blockers.
no, we don't use that.
We know
we don't
that.
use that.
Are you
No.
ready for your next sound? Let's go for your second one. Now, let's amp it up a notch. See if we can get this one.
It was a sound.
It was a
This
sound.
was a sound.
Yes, this was a sound.
It's not a sound. Huh?
It is a
For
sound.
me, it's just wind.
No, it's a sound. It is a sound.
Okay, one more time, please.
That's pulling out like the Grim bee stunner. Like
So-
the gun for the bees.
I would say when you pick up rook armor. I don't know.
You pick up Rook armor?
Yeah.
Final answer?
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
You think it's the gun
Yeah.
for Grimm's launcher. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That would be incorrect. It's Glaz changing his scope.
Ah, yeah.
See, once I tell you what it is, now you understand.
Okay, now I won't miss. It's okay.
So
I
you're
know.
0 for 2,
Yeah.
which isn't good. Let's go for your next one.
Oh, it's hard.
It is
okay.
hard. Here you go. Here's your next one.
Dude, what is that sound?
The sound of the bomb. When you are
Final answer?
when you are next to the bomb. Can you do it one
I'll
more
do it
time?
one more time.
I have no idea. to
No
be honest.
idea.
No idea.
It's-
Is it a map
I'll
sound?
give you a
Like-
hint. It's one you play a lot. I've seen you on this operator many a times.
For me, the first thing that comes to mind is the sound of the bomb when you are close to the bomb.
It's a
But-
gadget. I'll give you that much.
Okay,
It's a gadget.
so
Okay.
so it's a gadget. So what gadget does?
Oh, he's leaned up. He's getting serious.
I don't know. Lion scan. I don't know.
I actually don't know. That's my final answer. I
It
don't know.
was Ying's Candela's.
Oh yes.
Ying Candela.
I know. I know. I
Okay.
know.
Let's go for one more.
Kali.
That's a Kali.
100% Kali.
It is Cali. So at least you finished on a high.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
So that is our episode done between Alems and Spoit. And we'll be back again with another episode of What's That Sound?
Welcome to the STC Takeover at Gamers8 featuring Siege with our final mashup of day 1. I'm Gina, your host, joined on the desk by Anne and Jesse. And that game was very convincing from M80. Coming into this, we said it was going to be a 50-50, and they've proven to us with the 7-2 win that it was theirs.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's the fact that they were probably warmed up, they were hyped up going into this game. And if you look at it, for example, as well, this was NIP's map pick. So we've been talking about teams winning their own map picks today. This kind of went against that as M80, well, came out guns blazing on this map. We talked, for example, about how their entries were in that previous game and how their entries are in this game. So looking kind of similar. They're really strong on that. And then at the times when NIP gets an entry, for example, it's almost immediately traded out by an M80 player to equal out that difference and to make sure, especially when you're attacking, that you still get that ground and that control that you want on border.
Yeah, very worrying to be losing your map pick, especially so dominantly there on border. I think, as you mentioned, the entries really were impactful there. Spoit did a great job, as he always does, coming in for M80, having a huge impact for them, making sure to find a lot of those frags earlier on in the rounds. Thought we also saw some good plays coming in from DS later in the round there. That final 1v2, obviously a big play coming out from him. And then I think Iconic at one point, like 6 rounds in, was 1-1 or something. I don't know exactly what he ended up at. Almost non-existent in the server, but he didn't need to be. His teammates were dominating.
Yeah, absolutely. M80 had such a great performance, but it also brings a question in terms of NIP, right? Moving forward, what can they change? We said earlier on today, they lacked that versus pro play style, being a little bit more passive, trying to, you know, get information and just wait it out, whereas when you're going up against someone like M80, that's not going to work for you. Worked against Falcons, but you cannot do the same trick against M80. So that means that going on to Villa, or just in general, the border performance, what would we have wanted to see from this?
Yeah, we questioned the operator picks on the side of NIP, like these trap operators, these slowdown operators into that Virtus Pro playstyle, whether it was going to work against a team like M80. And to me, it kind of felt like NIP did a bit of a copy and paste regarding their operators from earlier today and now. Again, a lot of castle, a lot of trap operators just trying to slow down a lot of time. And I feel like M80 was a lot smarter with that. They were able to take map control faster and able to avoid like unfortunate side setups for them a little bit better than Falcons were able to do so this morning. And then on the side of M80, on their own defenses, they were playing like these really strong operators in the current meta. You got Fenrir, Solis, Velk, Azami was banned out, but then those other 3 operators that are really strong were appearing in this lineup quite often, and despite, for example, this whole setup being around archives and making sure they have a Solis from underneath to potentially get rid of Implanter, having lots of C4s, having the Fenrir, NIP still went for that standard archive stake outside the balcony where you set yourself with an Oster shield, you take that control, you try and get a plant off, even though there were so many things working against him and they could not adapt around that.
Yeah, you talk about the operators that we saw a lot here. You mentioned the castle, and that was often played by Wizard. I really did feel like he had a pretty rough start, and this is kind of a player who sometimes we see that from him. You go back even to the Gamers Without Borders finals, and the first couple of maps, you know, when they go down 2-0 to Liquid, Wizard not really there, he popped off on map 3. He really helped them carry through that game, turn the tides, and we kind of started to see that as well. Wizard in round number 8 having a massive 4K upstairs in the roam. I don't know if it was just switching from defense to attack, and maybe that helped him out to be in a better kind of situation, right? Doesn't have to play with UMP, always nice, or what it was, but I think we saw a definite shift from Wizard from that first half to the second half. I'm glad we saw that, but now it needs to carry on to map number 2, because just like when they were going into map 3 against Liquid in the grand finals of GWB, it's do or die.
Yeah, and also when we're looking at M80, one of the things that we really spoke about was the fact that they didn't really have that much time in between the game that they've just played and this game coming into it. Whereas NIP, we were like, okay, they've had a chance to sit down, they've had a chance to look at how M80 plays. Most likely it's something that they're going to be able to bring into this game, but adaptability at the end of the day went more in favor of M80, who had no idea what was going to be thrown at them, rather than NIP, who potentially had had that chance to sit down and have a look.
Yeah, I mean, they even mentioned it themselves this morning, NIP, right? Oh, hey, we were expecting a completely different play style from Falcons to come out. We were expecting way more aggression from them, and still they were able to adapt. But it feels like that in this game just wasn't there as much as it was there this morning. And indeed, from M80, you know, not being able to see what was going on with their opponents, feeling like the playstyle of NIP stayed kind of the same over the past little while, where they have this like slow down kind of playstyle, that must have been easier for M80 to read into that.
Yeah, I think, you know, you win a game like they did against G2, I think gives you a ton of confidence. You know you beat G2, the reigning world champs still. Whether they are the best team in the world or not, you can make that debate. But undeniably a top team, right? And for M80 to come out here, get a win over them, hard-fought win, prove to yourselves that you are capable of beating any of these top teams in the tournament, that's going to obviously affect your mental. And then coming here against NIP, who'd been chilling, you know, who had to play against Falcons and had a relatively easy time, you know, that's going to affect your mental, and I think that's going to affect your you know, game plan coming into a game like this.
Yeah, some very serious words being thrown around here.
Is that live?
Yeah, I do assume that is live. They're
Seems like
having that meeting at the moment. I mean, you're coming into this next game, Villa. You said it yourself, and this is do or die. All these players, they need to get their head back into the game. They need to figure out how they could come back from this, because at the end of the day, the game that was lost was 7-2. It wasn't just like, it wasn't a close map. It was very much like all you get is 2 rounds.
Yes, I mean, if we think about positives for NIP, they themselves, they like to say, oh, we're more of a best-of-3 team than we are a best-of-1 team, right? Consider this was, for example, a best-of-1 situation, they would have lost the game, but the fact that it's a best-of-3 allows the opportunity for them to come back on a potential map like Villa. Yes, it was M80's pick. Yes, they beat G2 on it earlier today, but that, for example, was a map that NIP could watch and see what there might be coming out today for M80. It's not that bad of a map for NIP.
All right.
They also get to choose the site, obviously, considering it's M80's map pick. I hope they pick defense, because their attack and win rate is one of the worst ones that they have over all of their map statistics wise. So I hope they get a good few rounds on the board on defense, because they need that kind of buffer if they don't want to lose this O2.
Yeah, a little huddle coming in from M80 as well. They got to just keep that momentum going, but it also brings the question in, how is their performance going to be on Villa? Already mentioned it, they played it against G2, but still, you're going up against NIP, they have a pretty good win rate on it. What can we expect?
I mean, I think for NIP and for M80 on Villa, it's interesting that M80 would even pick a map like this, because it is so well played and so popular for NIP. You know, they're on a 3-game win streak here, including only Tier 1 official competition, right? So they beat Elevate in Copenhagen, then they beat Los One and Liquid in Gamers Without Borders. So those are pretty tough opponents, pretty high-stake competitions, right? And overall, they're at about 60% win rate on the year. So they're feeling pretty confident on this map themselves. I think, you know, coming back into this, being able to choose the side that you start on, as well as Anne said, they certainly have a good shot. And I think the team choosing the specific map is not going to be as impactful in this series as we've seen in a lot of other series.
All right, so this is because both of these teams are comfortable playing all of these maps. It can go either way, but we said that starting off, and the fact that M80 showed such dominance, I'm also a little worried about the mental state of NIP.
Yes, but NIP needs to think about themselves well. If they look back at their previous results, like you mentioned, they're not just 7-5, 7-4. They're a 7-1 over Los One and a 7-2 over Liquid. Liquid, who's had a really good recent performance with the majors and everything. So they're not just good at the map, they're pretty dominant. As long as they get their buffer on defense, they should have a bit of confidence going for them.
Yeah, and this was the map where Wizard turned it around and had that massive takeover in the grand finals against Team Liquid. They were down 2-0, and then they had the comeback on this map to start it off to get here to Riyadh. So Wizard, now's the time.
Now is the time indeed. It is do or die for Ninjas and Pyjamas if they want to stick out to the competition. M80, they are looking playoffs dead in the eye. Can NIP rise to the occasion and push this to Chalet? Let's find out how Villa goes.
Ginny, thank you very much indeed. We are back here on the caster desk, ready to get stuck into map number 2 here. We've got M80, we've got Ninjas in Pyjamas. I always call him Nip. I've never gone for the full name, but I full named him today because I want them to perform demo.
Any Mickeys?
I do not want to see a repeat of map number 1.
It's Villa, which it's not the strongest map for M80. It's one that they don't play all too often. I think the last time they played it, they lost it. I think at Wolves against, I think it was in overtime, and they lost it. So it was close, but still lost. And then I think the last time they won it, it was back in NAL stage. And I think they beat Sonics on it in a best-of-3. So yeah, it's, I mean, we're going all the way back there. That's a long time ago. We didn't see them play it during the qualifiers, for example. They didn't play in any of their best-of-3 games at the major. It was a best-of-1 that Wolves beat them in. So I'm excited to see what M80 bring to the table. NIP, this has been a map which has always been a good one for them. It's always struck me as, yeah, this is always going to be a favorable map for NIP. It's certainly one of their stronger maps
if you want to throw it back even further, back in the day when we casted LATAM, NIP had something like a 13-month win streak on Villa, and it wasn't through lack of playing it. They were good at it, and they would play it whenever they wanted to, or whenever their opponent wanted to. Obviously, one of the things that's been both difficult and exciting for this event is because we're in a bit of an offstage for Siege, and this has been the first event since Copenhagen Major. We haven't seen a regular stage play, so it's very difficult to know where to drag the data from.
Where everyone's at, really, isn't it?
Where's everybody at? Because the game's changed so much. We've got the introduction of new operators, things have changed, sites have been reworked, gadgets rebalanced. So it makes a lot of small micro changes that really add up to, you know, they might have liked this map back then, but what's changed between now and then? So let's throw in and see where we end up here. NIP starting things off on the defense. M80, they're going to be starting things off on the attack. They were blazing earlier over on border. Let's see if they can continue that here and now.
Look at the bans. Pretty tame for the most part. Strong operator still available. I mean, Mira's up, for example, Ollie, which is pretty good for this bomb site specifically. Over towards Aviator and Games. I'm in a bit of a Mira rut at the moment, aren't I? I'm hard on about Mira quite a lot, but I think she's just, on certain sites and certain bomb sites, it's just no brainer.
Hyper-focused on the Mira, aren't you?
Honestly, I really am.
Room free. Do you want to talk about it?
I think it's just because I just enjoy playing Mira, because it's just a freebie kill most of the time. You know, you're sat by the Mira window, it's quite easy, isn't it?
We're not here for the freebie kills, then we're here for the win.
Well, I mean, some of these players might be here for the freebie kills to get some money.
Some of them might be here for the freebie kills.
Get the extra.
That is very true. Earlier in the day, M80 played G2 on this very map. It was the first map in their best-of-3 series. They won 7-4. They were good for 3 attacking rounds and 4 defending rounds here. So I'm expecting to see them do well on the attack here. An equal split of the attack would be very nice for them if they could achieve that. What a shot! Excuse me, Gomez! Pino's just been rinsed. Dare I say it? You hit him with a turn and burn.
Turn and burn. It's a classic from you. Need to get the checklist, see how many you've beat for it. I don't use any of my old sayings anymore. You know, I've evolved past that.
A bit closer.
Observation blockers. Note on that, Ollie. That top red stairs area. A lot of drones pass through that. Being able to block off lines of sight is going to be really helpful. And oh, look at the refrags. Just keep coming in. Psycho, 2 of them. The Warden. I'm shocked Warden is allowed to be played. I don't know why teams are not banning him. I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, you look what we've removed here. We've removed a Cade and an Azami.
I just think Warden's better than both of them.
Azami seems to be the hot pick at the minute. Everyone's banning the Azami.
I think Azami's annoying more than anything. Warden's just like... It's the gun, it's the gun. It's literally, it's the new 1.5x crutch. Same way we looked at Alibi, same way we looked at Oryx. That's now who Warden is. All the 1.5x players have just flocked to it like a moth.
Yeah, NIP have really flocked to those 1.5s as well. Seen a lot of Thorn play. And it's literally just for the scope.
Of course it is.
It really is not for the gadget.
Some people show their true colors. Who are the weak? Who are the strong? Honestly, I would love to see what happened if the 1.5x got taken off the G36Cs. So many players would be out of the job potentially, Ollie. Who knows?
Down to the job centre.
Tell you, a lot of people will be playing Ace all of a sudden. We've got a flurry of support players hitting all of a sudden all around the place.
M80 don't really have too much to go on here. They've got a lot of utility, but are they going to get into position to use it? The mute jammers are causing them a little bit of a problem. The proximity alarms as well, giving further information away. Diaz and Iconic, they're fairly split up. They don't really have a plan. The diffuser cold on the ground, NIP know this. All they're trying to do now is just try and keep a hold of it. Seeing a little bit of a peek there from Cons. Really should double dip onto that as Iconic makes his way up the red stairs. Potentially look to hop himself into sight, but without the kit, it's going to be very difficult to do anything. Gets a great shot there over onto Cons. The diffuser can now be collected. With 6 seconds left, are you going to get it down? The answer is looking like a no. 3 kills for Psycho. Wizard mopping things up. Looks like that little team talk outside from Chubbs did the business, at least for round 1.
Has indeed, NIP leading for the first time in this series. And Psycho, all credit to him. A very opportunistic double kill. Wait to see, you know, the information come in from the team. Obviously his team dying around him, but he just says, you know what, I need to get some kills back here. And he finds 2 of them just lining up towards that red stairs. That's really all of the action went down, only was that one specific area on the map. This right here, Muzi fighting everyone. And obviously Psycho trying to support him, moves in, finds 2. That moment right there for me is kind of where they won the round, isn't it?
It's great being able to go back and see these replays as well for the kills that we missed in the fray of things, because obviously when there's multiple kills going down, it's difficult to catch them all. We get to go back and see it. Now, do we want to credit that to the observation blockers demo? Do we want to say that the observation blockers removed any ability to drone there, and that then made it a little bit difficult? There's some mute jammers thrown into that mixture too. So it did become a point in a position where you've kind of just got to face check it or deal with those observation blockers and waste utility on them.
I think observation blocker plus mute jammer is really the combination that works well. Observation blockers on their own aren't that great. I really don't see the benefit of bringing them. We haven't really seen it to the extent of what we see other gadgets like, for example.
True.
We've seen more barbed wire today than what we've seen observation.
The thing is with the observation, it isn't meant to be so oppressive. It's a secondary gadget. You know, it's got to fit into that secondary gadget mold of, is it, is it useful? Does it provide a little bit of information that's fairly limited? Spoit.
That's a classic. That always works. Repel up Astro and just spray for it. There's always someone. That always works.
You got to make your own look in this game. If you don't fire the shot, you're never going to know.
You got to make the play, because if you don't make the play
will make you. There we go. We're getting into the swing of things now. Unfortunate timing for Cons, really. You can't do too much to battle back and affect onto that. You just really look at the draw.
This setup we've seen a few times as well. Oh, M80 finds a shocking kill onto Gomez. Downstairs he was lurking around, but this setup with the 2 castle barricades and then having the reinforced walls, I don't see the need of the castle barricades if you've got the mirror. I don't really think the castle brings all too much.
Hang on a minute, you were calling for the mirror earlier.
I was, but you don't need the castle. On top of the castle, the mirror's pretty decent. It is good, but because they brought the castle, you're just wasting, more utility where you could have brought like a bandit, for example, to start bandit tricking that mirror window. That's one thing that works really well on that mirror, especially. It's just the old bandit. It's great because then you have the C4 to C4 someone as he jump in walk-in closet.
Bruzy got himself into a pretty sticky spot as Diaz could find one on the hop-in and Spoit. Well, it could have been any number of the M80 players there. The Tracers were coming in thick and fast for that final player rotating into the closet. Psycho. We'll just roll back a little bit to where he's on the concrete shield. He's playing Warden. A couple of stuns come in. He runs away. You didn't activate the glasses. You're on the Warden.
You sound like me. Hang on a minute. That's my job.
It hurt me a little bit. Honestly, it hurt me because he activates the glasses.
Well, anyway, NIP can still pull it back. They can still do this. I'll be Mr. Positive. You be me.
It just hurt me a little bit. That was off the back of Intel as well. That
what happened down here? What's M80 doing down there as a mute?
I would say that Gomez is probably asking the same question.
Yeah.
Diaz, hello?
See you on the other side.
Look at this. This
is
just
wonderful. We're getting all the little bits we usually miss.
It's like a statue.
Yeah, M80 was a little bit lost there. We didn't miss that one. There's another clip.
There you go, Salty. There you go.
So many good stills of Spoit's face.
Yeah, Salty will be loving that one. That'll be used.
Very expressive.
That'll be up on Twitter within, give him, what, 2 minutes?
5 seconds.
3 minutes.
Attackers
It's been a long day. It's 25 to 10
That'll be
time.
instant.
Attackers' objective is
What do you say?
the bomb.
M80 going with a different approach when the Capitao comes in to the fray of things. This is, of course, the kitchen bomb site. I wonder what idea they've got, because I'm trying to think. Capitao ain't that good on really any of these bomb sites, in my opinion. I don't really know where he fits in, like, oh, that's really strong if you can do that. So I am curious to see what they've got planned.
I'm sure we're going to find out that Iconic really doesn't care for your opinion in a minute when he comes out with some beautiful Capitao play.
He hasn't really done much in this series. I mean, he didn't really have to do much in Border. It's quite a quiet game from him.
Got a couple of plans now, didn't he? I think he was part of the final round as well, which is a big clutch-up, obviously.
If Iconic's plan, what does that say?
It says that Kino and Diaz are getting the kills, which they've been doing so far quite well, to be honest.
I mean, we kind of thought Iconic coming into this roster would kind of be like the backup support for Spoit, but he's actually developed more into a flex role, hasn't he? It's been mostly Gomez who's fit it into kind of behind Spoit for the most part.
Con's gathering a good bit of info here, but doesn't know that there is a player on the upside down the fell. Iconic, he's going to fire him off for the time being. Allows Spoit to now move through, can start to work with
I like that.
Potential of a player behind the bulletproof shield, but look at the drone working at his feet.
Once again, M80 enabling Spoit. They're bringing Capitao hours to support him. What team does that? Capitao hours to support your entries.
Just goes to show how much value the place into Spoit. M80 could be about to play spoiler here. Gets the trigger shot onto Gomez. Great little one-tap through the wall, but eventually will be shut down on the reverse of it. Cons, he dropped himself off. Playing on the Solace, he can gather a lot of information. He can still affect for his teammates below and call out those all-important positions and locations. For the time being, M80, they've got this top floor control and they're going to keep hold.
I think Sport's probably eyeing up a proposition of just dropping the hatch and straight into site, straight into China. That could be an option for him, so he will drone out himself. He will see what he can do. Spot's one inside a living room, but if he sees that no one's tucked in towards that kitchen corner, Ollie, he might just go for this. He'll probably ask Gomez to sit in the cam and walk into sight.
Especially with Kino's position now, he could do a lot to try and back him up as well.
Cons just ripped down the barricade. Beside him.
Maybe just waiting for his time to strike here. He's still got a little bit of that he
Yellow
can do
paint.
vertically. That breaching charge, going to give him another line of sight to work with. Just take a good couple of points of damage. It's going to be Pino that finds one onto Kino. The diffuser is attempting to be recovered, but no, another down in the process. Diaz, now what do? You've got to try and pick up the diffuser pick by Iconic. He's no longer for this world as Pino sees to it that he is fallen. Diaz now, you've got a lot of work to do through that laundry wall. NIP, they really choked M80 out there.
M80 just kind of bunched up towards Laundry, didn't they? A little bit slow. I think that's what hit them, the realization that, hang on a minute, we've actually taken too long here to get things going. Spoit, obviously we've seen the idea he was going for, but then he a tricky Solace that he just couldn't snag, couldn't get him. And then you lose Spoit, you lose that pressure of taking control of Kitchen, then everyone else floods in towards Laundry. You know, that knock-on effect again, it happened for M80. Great shot from Kino. He's hit some good shots today, hasn't he?
He really has. I think it was NIP's focus here onto Iconic and Diaz trying to push through that was real good pulling factor. It's part of the problem with the Capitao, honestly. You do enable that lack of vision. But sometimes if it goes too close, there's only one place you're going to be, and that's in the smoke. Just pre-fire the smoke, and usually you're going to see a little bit of success. You need to be putting off those lines of sight a little bit further away.
Oh, M80. This is what I like to see. This is it. This is how you play Siege, Ollie. Are you ready? Ying and Glaz!
5 seconds to
But
go.
you know what the issue is with bringing this? You've decided to ban the Dokkaebi and the Kide.
And defuse a bomb.
So that means Warden's up.
Gomez is going to think twice about the Glaz and instead going to go on to the Flores. Wizard. He's obviously feeling himself. Maybe lands one bullet onto Diaz.
One bullet, that's it, yeah.
Especially at that range with the suppressor. Kino does still have the Ying though.
Yeah.
And, you know, whilst there is a Warden up, that's only one pair of glasses. Do you know how many eyes there are on the defenders? 10. And only 2 of them are being assisted by the glasses.
Lucky there isn't like a Capitao on the other team. You
Imagine,
had to
yeah.
count 9 for that, wouldn't you? Missing the old eye.
I mean, to be fair, we can't see under Jaeger or Mute's
Actually,
model, so
there's a fair few operators that are actually missing parts of bodies, aren't there? They actually are.
yeah.
Missing arms and fingers and all
Bionic
sorts.
arms, we've got, yeah. Oh, please tell me we've drawn the frost map. That would be a horrible way to go. Of course he has.
We have.
Straight into the bathroom. Muzi.
A little bit more aggressive from NIP compared to what they were doing on Border. Oh, Spoit and Kino both picking up the 2 opening picks, Ollie. What's happened there? NIP, talk about how aggressive they can be, but it didn't work. But there's Goggle Boy, here he is, being able to just counter those Candelas. Cons goes down as well, and 8 finishes him off, and NIP. I mean, M80 haven't really done much, Ollie, but they're 5-2 up.
Feels like they've just walked into master side, you know.
Feels like that's the
Psycho's had the
site.
good fortune there to be in the right place when the Candela went off, but realistically, without taking a single kill back as a trade, this really could be a flawless. You might have the goggles, Psycho, but it's just not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Picks himself a 1 onto Kino, immediately swings round knowing he's about to get pinched. But it isn't enough.
Weird round, that. Not a lot really happened at M80 side. Nothing they did, you know, broke the internet.
Especially when we think back to the way that round played out in round number 1. We had the observation blockers. There was a big traffic jam at the top of red stairs.
Yeah.
Psycho got a couple of kills as trades, and he swung off the back of Intel really well.
It was
There was none of that.
It was almost as if, you know, last time they allowed M80 to have control of, you know, this side of the map, bedroom, all that, and then they put a lot of their focus in, right, we'll do the choke point in red stairs.
Yeah.
This time they thought, all right, let's do the choke point in bedroom.
Yeah.
very much more difficult to do because you don't have then the support of the players in sight. You're close to the site. You know, we've seen players like Cypher being able to swing out, safety, you know, all that stuff. That was the issue. They played a little bit too much. They spread themselves too thin. Because if you spread yourself too thin, like, you won't be able to taste the butter. You won't. It's a waste. What's the point?
I thought you were going to throw out the Bilbo quote.
10 seconds remaining.
What's that?
I feel old, Gandalf.
5 seconds left.
Like butter.
No, that's in Chambers. I think.
What's
Is that not in Chambers he said that? No? I thought that was in Chambers who said I feel old. No?
You'll have him tracking us down. He'll be coming into the casting room.
He's far away from us. He has to walk through heat. He doesn't do well in heat.
It's a long way, actually. Long way down the boulevard.
It is, yeah.
Main stage. Let's see what round number 5 has in store. We've gone back and forth.
All over the place.
There hasn't really been... I mean, that last round was very convincing. That last round was a little bit scary for M80.
There hasn't been much of a flow, has it? It's been a bit of a weird one, back and forth, you know, disjointed sometimes, some weird rounds, some close rounds. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it.
But we're waiting for one team to really take the initiative and take that lead. At the moment, it's nice because neither one is really getting one over on the other. There's been some fairly convincing rounds, but they've been convincing for either side.
Yeah, I think whoever loses this, they'll probably say we just couldn't get into our rhythm, isn't that? That's the kind of vibe you feel whoever does, you know, end up losing this map. M80, almost going for an NIP-like approach, Ollie, probing, seeing what they can find out, opening everything. They haven't really done much, but it's all about setting up the positions. We know how crucial that can be for going for the executes. They've opened up quite a few castle barricades there, Ollie, haven't they? They were over towards Wolf Window. There they are in Astro, now shifting over towards Bedroom. Just eyeing up their options. It's the mirror windows that they need to get through. They have the EMP grenades. Will open up. Again, this is where a Bandit, again, would have been great, Ollie, to stop that from happening. Sadly, NIP have valued, again, that castle, for example.
Psycho gets a good little shot there on Takino. It isn't enough to deliver the finishing blow, but Wizard also holding one of those skinny angles on the doorways. Not sure if he's aware that Spoit has just made himself into the bathroom.
Iconic.
Horrible position for Wizard to be in now. He's got a player on the window, a player inside a bathroom, and he knows about both of them. Spoit going to get the better of him there as he does take the initiative and hits the peak. Going to disable the laser gate for the time being. M80, the two-man advantage here before strikes back, making that DMR sing at range. The wall getting opened right next to him means that his moments surely are numbered, and Spoit is going to see to it that he too will fall. Both remaining players from NIP are out of the site, but that isn't going to stop him. Pino gets a great shot over onto Diaz. Now's left with Muzi to try and retake this site.
M80. I mean, Spoit is up, and Spoit's already killed a fair few players in this so far. I think all 3, isn't it? 2 more to get the ace potentially for him. Iconic will move in, and he's going to try and go for the plant. Great shot from Iconic, Ollie. Look at the reactions on him. But can he get the diffuser down? More importantly, can Spoit actually get the cover on it? Pino has no denial. He's only got the UMP. Iconic just waiting for the right moment, shifts himself in deep, so now Pino will have to look away to try and kill the diffuser. And if he looks away to try and kill the diffuser, then he's not looking at Spoit, who he needs to worry about. Does swing him, but Iconic is there. Oh, that was a great little clutch from those two. That's why they picked him up, Ollie. Who would have thought?
Great little bait there from Spoit. I think you might look at that and go, oh, Spoit should have done more to hold that. He just needed to waste the time.
As long as you
guarantee
the
time for Iconic. Even if Iconic gets the plant down and dies instantly, Spoit's there.
He's there.
And he hasn't exposed himself too much to any sort of vulnerability. Great round there from M80. Real bold play from Iconic as well to push through quite deep there with the diffuser. He wasn't exactly with Spoit when he was pushing in through Statuary. Could have gone either way. It was a good attempt from NIP at the retake as well. This is the more dangerous play there. I think Muzi's maybe got a little bit unlucky on the timing. Tucked right in behind the wardrobe.
Yeah.
NIP, they don't look too disheartened just yet. Still early days.
Yeah. That was a good round to get. Takes him into the lead now, Ollie, more importantly, for M80. Final attack.
Will they hold the lead at the half?
Will they hold the lead at the half? And they've got the Ying again, which did work out. Well, I wouldn't say it worked out well. It didn't. Did it really work out well? I mean,
didn't work out badly, and this time there's no water.
Yeah. So you would hope so.
You would hope it would work out either equally or better.
Yeah. Only thing is you got Fenrir against. Sure, Ying is good at being able to move in. Nobody can see her, but she's Fenrir. She can't see anyone actually follow up on that. That's the thing with Fenrir. He's very good against the fast operator. So you're looking at your Ying, looking at your Glaz as well. Your Blitz, massive counter to Blitz. Massive counter, because Blitz, as a Blitz, you always need to make sure that you are facing the right way to who you're against.
It sounds like basics. Tell me something I don't know about Blitz.
What do you not know about Blitz? Is that there's a spot in Chalet where you can actually Ash Blow and you can insta-jump through a window with Blitz. Wow. It's a very good rush. Did you know that?
Didn't know that.
There you go, you know now.
Pino, just going to reposition himself for the time being. M80 again going for this kind of slow and steady approach. They're really not committing too hard to anything. They've got Spoit in below. Looks like there's a good bit of information here for him, and there's a yellow ping onto Psycho's position. Spoit, all you got to do now is land the shots. You know he's behind the desk. You get caught inside of the gunfight, but Psycho, he finds the opening pick. Drone or not, it isn't going to matter.
Massive kill. Massive kill for Psycho. Takes down Spoit. So now M80 will need to try and find their own way into the building without using Spoit to almost blaze a trail for them. Kino and Gomez both stacking up, only walking through the corridors. Are they maybe just going to look just to walk in to Memo? They could. Nobody's really in a good position to stop that from happening as well. What are they thinking now? They're going downstairs. Maybe to bring them a case of wine, perhaps? Who knows?
It doesn't really fit the play style of the operators that they've got. They've got like chalk and cheese right there. We've got a Nook who's expected to be the backstab, and then you've got Kino who's expected to kick the front door down. And yet he's creeping and crawling through the basement at the moment. He's still got a kill. Gomez has been taken out in the meantime. Diaz now going to hit the nade and throw on into sight. Just get caught in the Fenrir. This is the value of that Fenrir gadget. It's just going to slow him down and stop any initial push that we've been going for. Fenrir now can move into position, knows it went off, knows there's someone likely going to be there, and it's not quite a freebie, but it's as close as you will get. Now we're starting to see the Candelas come through from Kino, but no one's really there to back them up. He feels like he wants a bit more surety. He wants one maybe to go in a little bit deeper here. Iconic, he's going to try and work with him in through laundry. It didn't work too well last time. The Fenrir gadget's right there. But Kino doesn't want to reposition to try and take it out. He's waiting for Iconic to get into spot now. Got a good bit of information here as Kino is successful onto the first. Iconic onto the second. But Wizard and Pino line him up and knock him down. Nobody is ahead at the half because it's an equal 3-3.
It is, and the power of Fenrir. So, I mean, Ollie, he's so good against the fast operators. You can't go for the quick plays. We've seen the Candela go in, but he couldn't go for it because he can't see anything. That's just the way it is. Very, very strong operator, very potent, very flexible. The fact that you get 5 and then you can just activate them at a distance, because generally, I would find it very difficult to see a team try and, manage to push in 5 different doorways at the same time. Again, there's going to be, max 3 doors maybe that you're going to have at one time. As soon as you know what push a team's going for, just activate the ones that are going to be valuable to you.
Fresh said something really telling the other day. Fenrir makes average players good. And I play quite a lot of Fenrir. What does that tell you?
You're a great player.
I'm actually a great player because I play Fenrir, because I use my brain. I know that I don't need to outskill my opponent, I just need to cheese it a little bit.
Just out-cheese it. Yeah. Play a bit of Blitz.
I've tried that, it's not for me.
Mate, he is the most broken operator in a 1v1. I'm telling you now.
But I don't get to the 1v1.
Blitz plus Dokkaebi Call equals Heat Seeker.
I don't get to the 1 versus 1.
You should have a go. No, not like a 1 versus 1, not get to it, but just in 1v1 engagements.
Oh, right, okay,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just, I've received there's a lot more messages being sent to me now since I started playing Blitz. I've seen the correlation all of a sudden.
Equal half. Very different to the way that Border played out. And I think he's good. I did not want to see NIP go out like that.
We expected it more because this is a more comfort map for NIP.
Better map for NIP.
This is where they'll ease into it. And again, I think the play style of Villa, where, we've seen M80 trying to attempt the fast play style. It can go wrong very, very quickly. Because it's very linear, Villa, where you have to kind of push from one side, isn't it? you don't really have the same flexibility as what you had with Border, where you look at M80, they were pushing, you know, that's where they were pushing 5 different doorways at a time. This will suit NIP more. They can play the slow play style. They can really adjust the speed to them. But not too slow. We don't want to see them fall back into that trap where NIP, you know, that 6-man is actually the biggest enemy to them. You know, if we do a little head-to-head between NIP and Time, a landslide for Time.
Time's the winner there.
Never seen a record before.
Time will always be the winner. Seeing Gomez just reposition a few of those Fenrir gadgets. This is a much slower approach than we've been used to seeing so far. So it makes sense to get that utility in the right position. And as you've said already, Demo, the flexibility of Fenrir as an operator is fantastic. You can throw those gadgets out, you can pick them up, you can activate them, you can deactivate them all at range. You don't want to lose those activated charges if one gets destroyed.
Very tame approach from M80. They're not really sitting outside the site. They're very relaxed in the site. Only the one roamer in the form of Iconic, I believe. Everyone else just sat around just waiting for things to happen. NIP have wasted 3 nades on trying to nade these almost like exterior positions towards 90 and things like that. No one's home. You know, they've read into that very well. They're not going to give NIP the luxury of having almost like their safety nades where they know, oh, if we nade this, we always get a kill. They've played against that. That's all 4 nades, not a single kill.
And we've still not gotten rid of the shield on the top of map's table, even though we've set nades and self.
Well, you can't nade it from below because it's actually a solid. It's on map's
table. But they tried.
Yeah, they tried. Yeah.
That was the problem. Psycho, gets a glimpse there. Iconic. He's going to just back away for the meantime. He's doing a great job at wasting time here. It doesn't really matter what happens to Iconic. If he makes his way back up the stairs, great. If not,
this here
doesn't really matter. Look at Spoit's position as well. Here inside a study. Draws from the sidearm, knows that he's getting pressured on the window, eventually will be taken out. NIP, they do have the advantage. We speak all the time about how this team comes alive in the final 15. They're going to have to do that exactly now. Yes. Takes the engagement there from behind the player on the bar. Can he start to try and get this diffuser down? Yes, Iconic, he's on
he's not
the solace. He knows, he's below. He has 1 impact to his name and a chance, but he's too late. The hesitation caused him just to miss out by a fraction. Now made his way up these main stairs. He's got a long line to challenge onto the bottom of 90. He can get quick eyes onto the diffuser and immediately hops onto it. This is going to force a reaction here from NIP. They need to play this smart. They need to play this safe. Wizard, he's going to find that final kill. Close stuff.
Oh, Iconic.
At the point where Iconic screeched to a halt, did a 180 turn and starts running to where the plant was going down, I thought, we're going to see it.
No.
We're going to see the solace from below.
He was too late.
Fractions of a second too late.
I just think if it's a 50-50. It's either he goes up and he maybe catches them planting on the map's table, which would have been the correct play, but obviously he was planting in the place where he could have impacted below. It's one of them. It's one of them. It's unlucky for Iconic. The real engagement that really, you know, hinged on was this one right here on Pino. Pino had the lockdown study and he got 2 kills from all. It was incredible. Diaz tried his best to fight his way back in, and he probably thought, I think I've done enough for him, but nope, not enough. Good from NIP. Again, Pino saved that round. 100% on Pino.
I love how Pino's watching his teammate scream there, just like biting his nails, like, I want to get this done.
10 seconds to go.
Oh, close one. NIP back in the lead. First attack goes their way. M80 not messing around, going straight for a different bomb site. Weren't too happy with how things went the last time. Now they go in towards Kitchen. Pulse. Haven't seen Pulse today, have we? Have we seen Pulse today?
We saw a little bit of Pulse, I think.
I think we seen. I think from the Oxygen BDS game, because if Fox is there, Pulse is being played. That's a signature of his. But we haven't seen it on our games today, Ollie. So a bit of Pulse on Villa. It's great for Kitchen. It's really good because you can tell immediately if teams are going to go above. If you see 4 bodies stacked up outside bedroom balcony, you know it's going to be a vertical take. And then you can start calling teams over for the C4s and trying to eliminate the attackers as they move in. If you don't see anyone there, then you know it's going to be much more of a sideways approach, coming in towards living room, for example. And even seeing if anyone's on pantry stairs, which is very strong. How many times do we see like a nuke come downstairs in through like the lower garage, up the pantry stairs and trying to get in a position where they get a freebie in kitchen? Having the Pulse there will let you know straight away, look, Kino's checking it. Just that's where Pulse is really helpful because there is a really strong position. He can just find this information.
relatively safe, right? You know that people are going to be upstairs.
There's no windows in that bomb site, so you're not going to get shot from a window.
You can find those dark spots where you can just sit and gather that information. Especially when Pino himself was one of the players that was crouch walking through the basement. You know, it's on your mind as something that you need to keep a lookout on. The basement in Villa is still one of the most underutilized areas of the map, even though our basket.
I think it's
getting a
rising.
little bit more prominent.
I mean,
but
I think for what it is, it's quite good.
Yeah.
C4 misses. Tried to go for the up and over. Moving in towards that walk-in, but nobody's there. Cons will then find said pulse, and 2 players gone already. M80, not a good start for them. They've lost the information from the pulse. They've lost the information from the Solus. NIP now, this is where they're in their element only. They have that opening pick. They will just tear this bomb site limb from limb. They will. They'll be like a pack of sharks, just waiting.
Gomez could be about to play spoiler, though. I don't think anyone is watching the flank, and Wizard at least will suffer for it. It's taken out there on the trade by Pino. Still, it's one body that he didn't need to lose, but the advantage still remains. Diaz just trying to shotgun himself a little passage back to the site, see if he can try and assist Iconic a little bit, because, to be honest, Iconic isn't in the greatest spot right now. He's tucked into the pantry. Diaz just going to be watching the 90 downstairs. Clock is ticking, so for all that vertical control is going to gain you good lines of sight, if no one's there, you can't really do too much with it. You're going to have to get into the site, you're going to have to get the diffuser down or find all those kills. Cons is doing just exactly that right now. Iconic playing this patient game as the plant does start to go down. A little bit of information is exchanged, but Pino is there with the cover. Diaz, the plant's now been confirmed. You've got to try and retake this. Sees one player cross, holds his nerve for a time, but doesn't really want to jiggle too hard onto China. He knows there's very likely going to be a player there, and it feels as though the game is up. Maybe playing for clips now as he's trying to get himself a fancy one tap. Cons is actually going to fly around the corner with the knife. I wasn't expecting that.
Try your chance, you never know, might get lucky. But NIP, again, it's just, that's clinical, isn't it? That's what we expect to see. This map just suits them down a lot more than what obviously Border did. They can just get stuck in, control the game at their own pace. There's not too many angles that they need to worry about. They can go very direct if they need to. M80 just struggling to get the flow. It feels as though they're kind of losing now. And then, Spoit and Kino, they're trying really hard to get a kill back, but it's backfiring. It's one of those where they're trying almost too hard. Even you have to admit, like, Gomez, for example, going for that play. Why not bring someone with you? For example, would that not, if you're going to retake, don't do it by yourself. It's all good getting a kill back, but go maybe with someone else. Maybe get 2 kills back.
Full commit to it.
Yeah.
Not seeing that level of commitment just yet. There is time, though. 5-3. NIP. Really, and with the chance of taking this to 3 maps, which I think if you were to ask anyone on Border, is that going to happen? It would have looked very, very unlikely, Demo. However, since getting onto Villa, map favours them a little bit more. Things have started to go their way.
What do you think of the trophy this year? Like it?
Yeah, I like it. Was good.
I think Bolo liked it.
It fits the sort of AR theme of the stage,
yeah,
right?
very, very techno, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do you think Bolo liked it? Do you think he maybe would have liked to have lifted that?
I think
Instead of placing it
down
down
with him. Yeah.
I was speaking to him earlier about it and saying, does he miss? And he thinks, well, there's always that part of it.
Yeah, I bet.
But Bolo fans, he's said that he's happy where he is. So he's not coming back, guys. Let it go.
I can't believe you've dropped that spoiler.
Let it go. It's not coming back. Give it up. Give it up. You seen him win it all. He's done. He's done and dusted.
Not the one-on-one, though.
No, he's not the one-on-one. One-on-one. I don't know if the one-on-one has arrived, guys. Do we know that? Did anyone know that King George is arriving as well? He'll be here.
Demo loves spouting the fact that King George is one of the very few players that's played one invite and one invite.
Can you tell me what invite that was, Ollie?
Was it the first one?
It was.
Yeah.
It was the first one.
Cons getting a good bit of value here out of the Bravo drone. He's almost spoiled for choice. Look at him go. Is he going to get the 4th?
Has been located.
And there was another Fenrir knocking about, but I'm not sure if it was activated or not. Lion Scan comes in to root these defenders in place. They do have a bit of an offside hold. Spoit tries his hand there at a peek onto Wizard. Demo, we're talking about trying too hard to make things happen. That's an occasion of it. That's a good example.
Yeah, he start getting in his own head, doesn't he? That's the issue with Spoit is...
I think any player can.
Yeah, he has, you know, a lot of pressure on him, you know, and... Yeah, I mean, he kind of has to earn his price tag, doesn't he, as well? You know, that's one thing we have to talk about as well. You know, Spoit coming over to NA, it's a massive move for him. We know that anyone who moves region, there's just that immediate pressure to do well. It happened to Alama whenever he came over to EU. Obviously, Citizen felt that as well, didn't he, with the Sonics move? Just the way things are. You need to perform. If you're moving regions, that really makes a statement. Then you really are good. You have to show it.
Another kill to go unanswered here as Kino going to be the next player to fall. I've been ripping things up with the nades from below. It isn't the nades, it's the guns that are doing the damage. Cons back on his thing with the Bravo drone. Now he's hacked all the gadgets in the world. He can just use it for a little bit of info. That info is going to be very kindly received. Droning himself a kill there. Gomez, he's got a minute and 5 kills to find. You can see the Femory gadgets lit up red, but it isn't going to matter. Flawless round for NIP there. They are really ramping up the heat.
The NIP can turn it on in a second. This is where, in a LAN environment, if they just have just 1 or 2 rounds only, that's snowball effect, isn't it? It's scary how good they can be.
Devastating.
M80 just look flat.
Well, this is where we start to think and talk about the fact that M80 played a best of 3 that lasted over 4 hours, and fatigue starts to come into this.
I get that, but they've probably played it in worse. You know, playing best of 5s. They went a full 5 map series against Dark Zero, for example, to get into this tournament. It's part of the job description. You have to get used to it.
It's true.
You know,
it's playing under a very different environmental factor, though. You're either at home or in a boot camp. You're in a much more familiar environment. You're not swapping between, you know, a B stream stage and an A stream stage. You haven't got all of the lights, the glitz, and the glam. There's a lot more pressure on you when you're in the moment, in the venue, in the location. And you've got to think to yourself, is that what's slowing M80 down a little bit now? Are they really starting to feel the effects of a long, drawn-out series versus G2? Some quick success on border and thinking, yeah, we could maybe get this done here, get this done in 2.
Well, they have to understand that their playstyle suits the faster maps a lot more. Look at the border. Villa, and I would say probably Bank are the kind of 2, maybe Club, but then I think Club's like kind of like on its own. Club and Femur probably on their own. Then you have like Villa and Bank, where they're the big maps. You can't really do the flashy plays as well as what you'd want to. You almost do have to kind of take it slow, eye up your options, good utility usage. Whereas maps like, you know, your Border and your Cafe and your Chalets, where you can play fast, you can play aggressive, that's where M80 will excel. Of course, we have Chalet after this, Ollie. Keep that in mind, which is that not the map that NIP beat them on at the Major, if I'm not mistaken? Was Chalet? So a bit of revenge, perhaps, could happen for M80, or the same old for NIP. That is, of course, if we get to it, which is looking increasingly favorable as time marches on.
Oh, it's looking more and more like we're going to see that Chalet. We saw NIP on Chalet earlier today as well. They gave us a very good display over on that map. We'll be certainly thinking about it in the coming rounds. Not for the end of this one. Match point currently for NIP. They have a chance to take us there right here and now. They've been devastating on their attack so far. They haven't skipped a beat after trading rounds back and forth on their own defense. Since getting onto the attack, they have been flawless. Much slower start to the round. M80, they're not vying for as much control as they have been doing in the early stages. Approaching the minute mark, and we've still got everybody alive, Demo. That's not the usual sight to be seen here on Villa.
Look at that. Just so many angles being opened up, Ollie. Oh, look at this from Psycho. He's just tiptoed into living room, but Kino, he's the doorman, he's the bouncer. He said, you're not getting in tonight, fellas. Not with them shoes on. Kino has the shotgun. He gets shut down by Pino. He's in the sight, but Ollie, look, the upstairs angles are there. NIP, they've tried to pull a fast one, Ollie, but it hasn't worked.
Not sure if it's a little bit lazy from NIP, if they didn't want to go for that top floor clear for whatever reason, but looking back on it, But I wish they have done it. The diffuser is now cold on the site, and Gomez knows that. Muzi is now making his way upstairs to see if he can try and make something happen with the players inside of that vault. Got quite a bit to wade through, though. Ephemery Gadget will activate the goo mine as well. It's a bad day when you get caught in Ephemery. It's worse when you get then caught into a goo mine. Iconic is going to see him prone on the floor there. Doing his best snake impression, trying to sneak around that map's table. Wizard, he's going to die to the same angle everyone else has. Well, yeah, pretty much. Gomez from above inside of the vault. You've got to clear the vault, Demo. It's step one.
It was Kino, I'll be honest, who kind of ruined the party there for them. Sitting in sight, holding the angle out of suspicion, and it was the correct one. Detective Kino on the case. Another crime solved. What do you think about his hair color change? Haven't even mentioned that yet. See what he's done with it?
It's pretty bold, isn't it?
It is. He's went for the blonde.
He's almost gone for the Doki.
Yeah, a little bit more curly.
Yeah.
I mean, Doki's almost going white now as well. The way his hair's going.
Is it white or is it grey?
You've played with Alamo for long enough. I'm sure we'd all turn grey, wouldn't we?
Looking for intel.
Yeah, it looked like it. I don't want to use the word lazy, but it just felt like NIP didn't do what they needed to do there. The default take for that is you need to take that top floor. You can't continually challenge that vertical angle. It's a horrible angle to try and contest. And then when you've still got players occupying in the site, it just gets a little bit too much. Still, they are on match point. We could certainly let one round slip here. Going to be attacking into the kitchen this time. But that could be the all-important success that M80 needed to taste to keep them in this one. It's not over yet.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Not over yet. 2 rounds, that's all they need. They went to this kitchen, Ollie, and they got absolutely derailed with the style of play they went for. A little bit too aggressive for M80, and they tried to get kills back, but they weren't doing it together. And then the numbers game just went against them in NIP. Whenever they have the numbers favorable to them, they will just devastate you. M80, they looked as if they've dragged more players maybe towards the top floor, have tried to lock it down a lot more heavy. Sport maybe going for the run out, using Gomez almost as live bait, and he will go for the jump out. Sport finds Wizard! That's all he finds, because that was the only one out there. Iconic picked up Cons, and that's more like it from M80. Great play, has to be said, from him and Gomez. Being able to say, right, Gomez, as soon as you start getting shot, I will jump out and kill this guy.
You can see it coming a mile off as well. Sport's pressing the window. He's got the solace. He knows he can find someone out on the drone if they're on the drone. He can easily jump out and pick that kill up. No Claymore, because you can see that as well. That's exactly how Solace is intended to be used. That little bit of aggression, little bit of get yourself out, get yourself straight back in, and it's done the business. A couple of opening picks here is exactly what M80 needed. We talk about NIP being on a match point, but M80, if they secure this round, which realistically 5 versus 3 they should,
against NIP as
they're
well.
only 1 round away.
NIP trying to go back from behind. It doesn't really happen, Ollie. It doesn't exist. Say that though. They pulled 1 kill back, but still 4 more bodies to find. 2 of them actually playing towards 90, another one in towards Vault, and another one inside of map. Ollie, 3 of them, a trifecta towards the side of the map that has nothing to do. 3 of them in 90, Ollie. What are they doing? They're escaping down the hatch. 1 by 1 they go, the great escape. Play the music.
Well, they're going to scurry their way back, and Muzi almost misses out on his opportunity there, but he didn't want to overextend. He doesn't have the fortune of cover, and instead just has to dip himself back, get down those red stairs, and see if he can try and find anything. To me, it looks at this point as though NIP are pretty starved of information. They have got a couple of drones knocking about. Whether they're set up as flank cams or they're in pocket ready to be used is another story entirely. Muzi going to wait for the flash and then push himself in, but he only gets flashed himself. Pino does have the kit in hand and can maybe look to start trying to get this down. Psycho just going to give him a little bit of smoke cover. Worried about that pressure from above. The C4 comes through and will be successful onto both of them. They were holding hands there. It only takes 1 to plant the diffuser. Muzi, he's got himself back upstairs, can find 1. 19 seconds left to go. He needs to find the rest. Puts good damage in onto Spoit. But knows there's likely going to be another backing him up. Spoit just got to try and keep himself alive here. Bait out for his teammate. And Iconic seals the deal.
Much better from M80. You look at the difference between that kitchen defense and the previous one. The difference is an opening kill. Against a team like NIP, you need to hit them with a rolling thunder from the get-go. You need to disrupt them, you need to kill key operators, you need to throw them off the stride. If you give NIP the time to set up, you give them a chance, they will floor you. That is how it works.
Well, a game that was looking fairly decisive for NIP.
NIP and the attack just started sweeping.
A couple of rounds ago.
Yeah.
It's now looking a lot less so.
Oh, he doesn't look too happy with that one.
Diaz, you've won the round.
What's wrong?
Is he still on the Brazilian side? Double agent?
Do you know what percentage of Brazilians are here at this event? The players?
Hit me with it.
35.
35%. Very good representation.
Indeed, as always. That's what you expect. Whenever we've got, Brazilians in EU now, Brazilians in NA.
Yeah. It just reminds me of the meme every time. You know the guy in the spacesuit?
Oh, it was always Brazil.
It was always Brazil. Yeah. Just reminds me of that. A chance here for M80 to close it out in 2. I don't think we'd be saying that when we're sat at 6-3 up for NIP.
And NIP, the rounds they won, it was so clean.
NIP looked fantastic in those opening 3 attacking rounds. And now we've almost gone straight back to we're just going to trade a few rounds back and forward, probably go to an overtime, probably NIP win it, and then we'll be ended up on a 3rd map anyway.
Our old friend, the Panic Monty, has made the appearance.
Well, the Monty was banned last map, wasn't it? Yeah. That just goes to show how much NIP like to use this operator. It can be very effective in the right hands. Think of Pino at the top of the day, on Cafe, played a lot of Shield, played a bit of Monty, played a bit of Clash, did fantastically on both of those operators. It's going to be cons this time on the Monty, but it doesn't really matter who it is, it's more the effect that can have.
Yeah, I think they can all play it, can't they? But at the moment, Pino, you don't take him off. He's got 12 kills. Killed leader by quite a substantial amount. 4, look at this from Spoy. What's he doing? He's running all the way around the car. He thought he was going to try and go for the kill on the player on the phone. Oh my goodness, Spoy, it was just a big, nope, I'm not going there. I'm going the other way. He gets himself back into the site. He scares me, so he does.
Just a little bit too far that time.
To be fair, he probably could have won that because that was a Monty.
Yeah.
The guy really without a gun.
Huge.
So...
It would have been huge.
Obviously, he doesn't know who he's looking at. Wonder if they're maybe going to try and use the Soulless Valkyrie combo, to prep the C4s and then see if they can maybe get a kill with it. Iconic is ready below. So that's going to be positioned just on the bathroom door as you head yourself in towards Solar. They have spotted out the Soulless below. Cons is going to push up now, and he actually goes by the C4. Iconic just sitting below, and I'm just going to send the shield just to make sure they can deter that Soulless away. And as you can see, Spoy, he's got either, although he's not sticking around for long.
It's a cagey round from both sides, isn't it? I think NIP know just what the weight is that is on this round. It avoids going into an overtime. It cleans the game up somewhat, and they can just start to focus on that next map. And for M80, it's everything. It's getting it done in 2. It's getting that, slightly earlier finish. Diaz, looks like he's going for a bit of a lineup there. He keeps looking down at the pool table, getting the C4 out, maybe just trying to figure out which way that C4 wants to go. But Cons is able to gather this information and can start to bully Spoy back a little bit. Gathers a good bit of info there as well. You now know that there's a Fenrir on the door. You can assume that anyway, but now it's guaranteed, so you're more likely to spend a nade on it or something of that nature, and he gets a bit more info. The roam clear has been fairly successful. Yeah, you've not got a kill, but you've been able to flush a lot of these defenders back to site.
Pino, the nade's below. He needs to try and find... Nope, doesn't find a kill. Maybe Psycho could go below and try and see if he can find a kill, because they need a number here. With the Monty, sure, it's fine having him, but that's one less gun that you're against. Cons just walk through the site. Doesn't have Diffuser to Wally. It's going to be in the hands of Psycho, the player with said nades, and will now give it to Cons. What plant position is he thinking about going for? He can't really plant in the doorway, because if they don't have Vault covered, he's just going to get picked off, Ollie. There we go. They don't have Vault covered.
Down there.
Hello?
That seems really risky to play the Monty in that sort of a position. And now look at where the diffuser is. 11 seconds left on the clock. Muzi finally going to come in through that 90, but he too will fall. It's going to be a flawless round for M80.
Don't tell me
There's questions to be asked there.
Did they think Vault was clear? Because Monty... Right, here's the two scenarios. One, we did see Nook nade Vault, and maybe they thought the Vault was clear because they naded it, which, how can you stop anyone repositioning the Vault to begin with, right? Or two, Monty's walked right through the bomb site, hasn't seen anyone in Vault, and thought, I didn't get shot at, or I didn't see anyone as I've walked through. Maybe no one is in Vault. Let's try it again. And he went for the Plunder Gun Vault.
You would at least open Vault Wall.
Just
bring something. Get a Hibana pellet on it, get an ace charge on it, something from that 90 window to give you that Vault control.
What I'm trying to think about is, where was the fifth player? We had one guy in study, one guy behind the Monty, obviously the Monty, one guy 90. Where was the fifth man? Who was the guy that wasn't doing anything? Because I counted 4 players there who were actually doing something. Where was the fifth? Where's he hiding?
You're like the manager that's come onto the shift. You're like, where's the fifth man?
We're missing someone here.
M80 have done a fantastic job to bring this one back into an overtime.
5 seconds.
Not only that demo, but they get the defense.
I mean, it's even halves.
It's even halves, but those last couple of rounds from NIP have been very bad.
I think they're a little bit shaky now.
Yeah. The realization's hitting. It's like, we've had the success. Oh no, we still can be beaten.
We've scuffed this.
Yeah, we've scuffed this a little bit, and now we need to try and pick it up.
Let's see if they can do it. Look at the site choice, just straight back into it. Straight back into it. They will go for the living room. Now, this worked out pretty well for them last time, mostly because NIP just tried to, you know, just creep their way in as if they were all playing Nook almost the way they tried to walk into the site, but it doesn't work like that. So I would say they'll take a different approach, and the main approach should be, like you pointed towards the last time they went for this attack, they didn't go towards Vault. They didn't eliminate the players above using the verticality. That's a must for us, isn't it? You have to clear above.
You kind of look at what they're bringing and you think, have they got the tools to do that? You know, Monty would be really good here because you could start to clear out that Vault a little bit. You could have players in position to back you up a little bit more. You brought the Ossa. It's not the end of the world, it's just a little bit choice for this bomb site. You know, you think about the Ossa as usually setting up a bit of a power position, maybe looking to try and get a plant behind it, maybe looking to try and play behind it a little bit. That doesn't really speak to clearing out Vault too much for me.
Wonder what they're going to try and rely on to really give them that pushing power. Maybe the Lion would be it, but that's, you know, relying on a Lion charge to be your main way of getting kills. It's a bit tricky. Only the one set of nades as well. I mean, we talked about the Ossa, but look where Cons is going. Towards the kitchen side. If they're just going to try and just plant on the door, or should I say the wall, it's not really going to work if Gomez still has an impact nade to stop that from happening. Because all it takes is, okay, he's trying to plant behind the Ossa shield. Have you got your impact? Yes, I do. Tosses the impact, everyone else swings. That's as easy as it is. But he doesn't have his impact grenade now, Ollie. All they have is smokes to deny this. Oh dear!
That Cons have been allowed into position to place that Ossa shield is a big, big problem. He got away with it a little bit there. He did dodge a couple of bullets that were being fired from above, and it now comes down to this vertical control, which NIP have got a great handle on. Their players lined up and ready to take these guys out as they start to make that rotation back. The Lion scan really assisting in that fact as well.
No smokes,
the Ossa shield is still up. The smokes have been spent. There isn't a goo mine available, and Cons, well, he's getting that plant down. A bit of a swing here from Kino. He's going to change target, finds one onto Wizard, but the plant is successful. Kino with a great rotation here, though. He needs to land his shot.
Oh,
leaving the shot from Kino. Look at him go. Picks up 3. What a rotation. Muzi and Psycho, now they need to get themselves into position. And don't forget, there's an Ossa shield assisting the disable here.
Kino,
he's found himself one.
Kino!
Muzi picks another. What a round from M80.
What around for Kino? Not M80, what around for Kino, you mean? Wow.
Bodega's loving it.
And you think about some of the awards that Bodega's had with NIP. Obviously used to coach MIBR, didn't he, back in the day? Wow. That's a play of the day. That's a save of the day.
Kino's done fantastically well here.
1, 2, 3, 4!
It took 4 shots for Cons to turn around. There's a huge shotgun going off just over you right here, and it takes 4 shots for him to turn around.
And give credit to Diaz. He done his job just to delay it.
Yeah, he was in the hot seat.
He sacrificed himself for the greater good. Wow. Love it.
I was nearly a bit worried then when the plant went down and we were kind of critical of that Ossa shield. I was like, maybe it's the big brain play needed.
I'll be honest,
It turned out not to be.
He shouldn't have won that.
No.
Shouldn't have won that because they should never have got to that stage. NIP just went open wall, Ossa shield plant. They had 4 impact grenades. All of them got used. I don't know where. Smokes didn't do anything. Shouldn't get to that stage. You mentioned before, Ossa shouldn't even be getting the plant down. Especially when, if I'm not mistaken, the wall, you have to vault through the wall.
Yeah, they had to vault through
You have to vault through it.
Well, they had the Ossa shield out as they vaulted through.
But
they still took a couple of shots, but one of them could have easily been a headshot.
Oh, tricky, tricky, tricky. But NIP, they've paid the cost for it. 7-6 M80. What's happened, Ollie? NIP were cruising, and all of a sudden we've hit an iceberg. Oh,
made to start things off there. Cons, he is going to suffer.
Can't make it up.
Not the start that you want.
He's just trying to get his utility placed and just a nade.
Especially when it's overtime match point in favor of M80. In a great position now to take this upper bracket final. Send NIP into that lower bracket. Great shot there from Wizard on the response, though. Feels cagey. Feels a little bit slow. I think Wizard's done a good job there to just play it a little bit aggressively, play a little bit, you know, risky if you want to. Get himself one back. Still a lot of util available here for M80 to work with, though.
Yeah, certainly. Flores, an operator they haven't really mentioned really at all today. Only a strong operator, obviously has a flashbangs, which we know has been a great selection of choice. But equally, as we talk about the droning, you know, the Roterans, they can't see past the blockers either, so he doesn't really know what he's going into. Could it be the mute jammer, which we know is the biggest counter to Flores, for example? Muzi, he's got a Candela coming his way. He's full blind. Ollie, is there any follow-up? Is there any protection from Psycho? That's the real question. No, he doesn't even need it. He's outlasted the flash. Spoit is there with the refrag. Warden was not needed in the end of that. The fact that Muzi's got away with a kill, Ollie, is massive for his side.
Just a little bit too long between the flash and actually going to push that, but Kino wanted to flash the 90 as well. Diaz with the TK. No, you can't just stand still after doing that. You've got to react. That could be crucial here, as it does put M80 at a man disadvantage. 35 seconds left to go. Diaz.
Where's Gomez?
Going to be feeling that pressure now to try and back up his team. Gomez is going to make his way up those main stairs. Is it going to be that easy, though? Especially with the Wizard at the top. Wizard, one of his Wamai discs has been eaten up there. Is he going to get a chance to replace the second? Gomez allowed that access up onto those main stairs. The diffuser, not in the hands of anyone. 15 seconds left to go, and a great swing from Pino. Sees them both cut down. Every round available is going to be required here on Villa.
We're going all the way. Daz, all 15.
Deary me. Real unfortunate TK there. Was that Spoit repelling in and Diaz was just behind him as that happened?
Just one of those.
Felt like he got placed quite deep into the corridor there for that repelling. That was the case. Look at that nade. Try a little bit of parkour.
The lineups.
This was fantastic from Muzi.
Honestly, getting that kill. I'm on the Ying as well.
Honestly, he probably would have got the second if he hadn't moved as well. I think he was trying to reposition himself.
Yep.
Oh, unfortunate. Yeah, it was Diaz that was coming in.
Just sends you through just a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Great distance. Just a head scratcher. That's a good summary. Kino, a head scratcher around there with a TK. He's doing our job for us, Ollie.
Final round of Villa. Could be the final round of the night here on the A stream.
Defense back for M80.
It's been good to them so far. You know, we talk about this being a fairly equal match, and yeah, it has been. But I just feel like M80 are a little bit better on the defense.
Yeah, well, they go for the kitchen, which was a much better site that they had last time, being able to play aggressive. We've seen the jump back tap from Spoit. Iconic over towards study window, being able to also pick off players on said bedroom balcony. So it was a much better, compelling argument for it. So this is the third time we're seeing it. I wonder what NIP are going to do, because obviously NIP are trying to go into bedroom, verticality, very slow, that's the way they do. Worked the first time, didn't work the second time. So now they're at a dilemma. Do we chance it again, or do we just do something different?
I think the difference this time is you've not got Spoit looking to play aggressively out of closet. And this was the round where Spoit jumped himself out, got the kill to the guy on the drone, and there was a little bit of team play there between him and Gomez. That isn't happening this time.
He's got the pulse more, haven't they?
So there is still potential to get yourself into Master and to try and affect a little bit more that way. The direct side pushes this time, for this map at least, haven't really worked well for either side. Yeah, sure, we might see the plant down here and there, but that's very quickly been thwarted.
Yeah, not too many plants that we've seen really work. It has been just about the kills, hasn't it, today? Look at the Pyjamas getting a lot of value there. Only 2 drones. It's picked up towards the red corridor, just beside the grandfather clock. NIP, what are they thinking of going for? Because they haven't put any pressure above. They're just looking maybe for a laundry plant. Whenever you're looking at seeing where teams are going to go for, as we're now, we're black and white, back again. Always look see his diffuser. Whoever's diffuser, that'll give you a good indication of what teams are thinking.
The thing that I like about this is that we've got the Muzi on the IQ with the diffuser. So things like the Fenrir gadget are very quickly dealt with. It isn't a surprise. You know it's going to be there. And that is just going to allow you a little bit more time to act in the moment appropriately, as opposed to getting caught out with things. So maybe they are just going to go for a little bit more of a direct approach here. Con's going to look to try and get that wall open. Still good progress, and they're not committing too hard to it.
Yeah, now they're shifting towards Pantry. There's 3 of them out there. Cons will take the diffuser. They're playing hot diffuser here. It seems to be back and forth amongst them. They're not really sure who wants to take it. M80 haven't really had to do much. Most of them just sat still the majority of the round. Wizard is downstairs knocking on the garage door, and look who's ready to answer it. Spoity's downstairs. Oh, the P90 does rip into one, but Cons is there with the refrag. But even still, that's good information. Now they know there's still one more player below downstairs in the basement, who then gets eliminated by Gomez. Diffuser called downstairs in the basement. M80 are in a great position now, Ollie, because NIP, they're going to need to move men now downstairs.
And Gomez can just try and play this as well. He doesn't need to move from the basement, regardless of what happens anywhere else. As long as he's able to keep himself alive, he's done his job here. Psycho, he moves through, takes out Kino. Diaz, he's still inside of Laundry there, but Gomez, he doesn't need to move. The diffuser's cold on the ground. This is a stalemate. It is a waiting game.
Got diffuser.
Been able to pick it up. Gomez finds himself one onto Muzi. Now the pressure comes in onto Diaz. Diaz, you've got to try and keep yourself alive here. Finds himself a bit of a spray, but the plant starts to go down. The shotgun is drawn for Diaz. He's got a sliver of HP. Gomez, you've got to try and get in onto the action here, my friend. Psycho finds the final 2. NIP. They didn't make it easy to get here to Gamers8, and they are not making it easy here in this upper bracket final. They've taken Villa against all odds. Every single round was played, and it came right down to the wire.
This team, 15 seconds, and they've just all jabbed themselves with adrenaline. That's what it's like. They've just finger stemmed them all. Fingers not even there. That's what it's like. Oh, I don't even know.
There's a tilter if you are M80 or an M80 fan out there.
Diaz moved. Diaz should not have moved. Where he was in Laundry, nobody knew. But then he moved at the wrong time, and then they seen him. If he wasn't there, they probably would have planted in the open right beside him as well. What do you see? What do you see the replay? Hopefully the replay might come up. But that was it. It was the fact that Diaz moved.
We've got a lot of replays to get through before we get to that final round.
What a map.
Again, some great shots in this one. Some good stuff that we get caught here on the replay. We saw a little bit of Lady Luck present for both sides. But equally, some fantastic C.
That was a great round.
This is a great round from Iconic. And they played that fantastically well, backed up by Spoit. Psycho, he had his moment in the sun as well a couple of times. Played a lot on the Warden. This was the round that just wasn't to be.
That was where Iconic he'll be kicking himself.
Yeah. I think the M80 will be kicking themselves on the hole. They had a good chance to try and take this as a clip 2-0, and they've let NIP back into things.
Double
fantastic C4 there as well. The smoke really not just working out.
M80, they really pulled it back, and then NIP hit them with 2 rounds in a row. Wow. Keno will be coming up here. What a play. This was the play of the game by far. Honestly, play of the day. Incredible. Just the footwork moving around. 4 shotgun shells into the heart of NIP. There's an 8. It's probably the most unluckiest kill of the day there, Ollie, as well.
That's what I was saying. Lady Luck was on the side of both teams here today, and sometimes you need that, especially when you are going to use every single available round. And of course, that final round downstairs in the basement. Gomez drops the diffuser, but isn't able to seal the deal. NIP clutch up when it matters the most. You know what that means? It means that we are going to be going to yet another map inside of this series. We aren't done yet. We're going to hit a short break. We'll be back with the desk, and they're going to set us up for our final map.
Welcome to Create Your Operator, where, well, you guessed it, we're going to create an operator. We've got the two G2 lads here with us today. We have Doki and we have Benja. Now, fellas, quite a simple game, isn't it? But I'm sure no one used to. There will be some disagreements because, of course, it is used to at the end of the day. So, here's what you need to do. I need from you guys the main weapon of this operator. I need the secondary weapon of this operator. I need what utility they have, so flashbangs, grenades, hard breach, whatever it is. I need the gadget that they have. And finally, I want you to name them. So a minute, let's go. Minute, go.
Nate's, for sure.
ARX, for sure. The gadget should be Ayana's gadget, and it should just be called Ayana.
No. Let's go to Benja.
Nate's, and I don't know more about that. You only need Nate.
Well, right, so you've got ARX. We've got that. What secondary gun do they have? What's the sidearm?
SMG.
SMG what?
11.
11, okay. So we've got ARX, SMG 11. What utility do they have? Are they going to have nades? What are they going to have?
Okay, I had a... should I say it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. It's going to be an operator on defense.
Okay.
Okay, it's going to have what gun?
Bandit's gun. I don't know the name.
The MP7, come on, man. And the SMG11 as the secondary, okay, for sure. We're going to have barbed wire and a shield. Barbed wire and a shield.
3 barbed wires.
3 barbed wires and a shield, okay? And the gadget, okay, the gadget is going to be able to cut the reinforcements in half. So you have like half reinforcements.
Okay.
And you can position the reinforcements differently. I know. It's going to be really great for some situations. And it's going to be called Bob.
Bob?
Bob the Builder.
So...
It's Bob.
Bob he just puts up half a reinforced wall and that's it.
Oh, jeez. No, he can cut the reinforcements.
He can cut it?
He can cut them.
So what purpose?
He's like Maverick on defense.
Maverick on defense?
Kinda.
Isn't that kind of going against defense? Or?
No, like, imagine you have like a little half reinforcement.
Right.
You're hiding behind it.
Didn't you give him a shield?
Yeah.
Something's not adding up. And he's called Bob?
Yeah, Bob.
You happy with that, Benja?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. That's what G2 think their new operator should be. Do you think Bob should be an inclusion in the game? Let us know. We'll be back again with another episode.
Why is he saying like this the whole time?
The best friend in the team will be Shaiko or Liquefact, but everyone in the team are close friends. My favorite moments in Rainbow Six in my career will be the winning in Yuan Camping, but I have another one. It's the clutch in the Paris Major with Vitality. How I will describe the team, it's like a dynamic. If I can recruit one player in the world, it will be Hertz, for sure.
Welcome back to the STC Takeover Gamers8 featuring Siege. I'm Jenny, your host, and still on the desk with Anne and Jesse. I want to talk about the emotions that all of us got through in that final round before we even get started, because we were standing right in front of this monitor, all 4 of us, because Fresh was here as well, because he was like, I don't want to miss out. And he goes, M80 is not going to lose this. And I'm like, say psych. He didn't. They lost it. So thanks, Fresh, for that one.
Yeah, that round was wild.
Who's writing the script in this place?
Yeah, can we just have a conversation?
This is too unrealistic. You can't be having an insane clutch from Kino on the brink, down 6-3, pushing it back to max overtime, and then losing like that in a round that should have been unlosable. Absurdity here at Gamers8.
Yeah. How are you guys feeling after that?
I'm just trying to decipher it. Like, they had the diffuser.
Yeah.
They had the initial opening kill, got traded immediately, but the diffuser was down in the basement. There was very little time to even pick up that diffuser, go to side, and initiate plans. And there were still people on side holding that down possibly as well. It's just crazy how that slipped through the fingers of M80, and they'll be kicking themselves for that as well.
Don't peek. That's what I'm gonna just don't do it. But they did it. But they did it. So we're actually gonna be going to our final map, which is going to be the Decider Chalet. But before we head into that, I think Villa is quite an interesting map, probably the closest map we've seen in the series, but in the series overall today, because it started off actually going in favor of NIP. Then M80 managed to bring it back, they get it to OT, do a little bit of an oopsie, but it happens. So that means that right now, not only are M80 probably kicking themselves about it and kind of in their own heads, NIP, they're in the lead, they got the momentum, they're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, it was 6-3, right? We had a really dominant start, especially that second half, right? We had those Aviator Games attacks coming in from NIP. You know, they really tried to hold that down on the side of M80. We saw a lot of early deaths from Kino on the smoke, not really getting value to those toxic babes. So we kind of started to see things fall apart from M80 early on in that second half. And then with some ridiculous plays, we have to talk about that Kino clip. Coming back on the smoke, totally redeeming the fact that he had a couple of early, not great deaths from players down below on AVG. Fantastic little play for him to come back through and win that out. This is the clip. This is just bonkers.
Yeah, we were talking about it like, oh, they don't have any impacts to get rid of the Asha shield, or the plants will be going to go down. There was some control upstairs even from the NIP players because that's where Iconic died earlier on. So this was looking like there wasn't that much that they could do to stop this. But then Kino goes well. He peeks the player behind the shield, then turns around all the way. That person in 90 not aware of this move happening from Kino. The shotgun not really connecting, but eventually getting the kill. The fact that he's made his way around there, got that control back over 90, which was a pivotal point for these attackers, and then to go for the counter defuse while there was a barricade on that door, stalling out NIP, wild.
That shotgun only does that for Kino. This has happened at many events. I don't know what he does. I don't know how he uses that thing, but any other player in that same position, exact same mouse movements, exact same clicks, they don't get those kills. The guy way off in 90 who's like, is getting all of those shots thrown his direction, nobody else gets that secure on the kill, but for some reason, Kino has a special relationship with that shotgun, and he will always find the frags.
He just built it. Shotgun's made for him.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it does look like that. I mean, talk about Kino even more. Like, he got active in a bit of the entry engagements as well on that map. I feel like entry engagements in general of like round wins were really important as well because NIP started to get better on these opening kills. They were defending a bit more aggressive, what we'd like to see from them, what they did on Villa before, contesting map control, being a little bit more aggressive on that. Getting those opening kills obviously helped in their favor too. The comeback from M80, they were getting some opening kills for themselves too. And just another thing that we have to keep in mind now is M80 have been playing this game for at least 5-6 hours today already. That's a best of 5 and an extra map. That's a lot of C2 you have already played, and then to play this final map still at the top notch of your concentration, it's gonna require a lot from their staff.
I mean, it's like Fresh's average Ranky time, right? Every day. That's how much he plays it. But Kino and Pino, and yes, those are actually different players on 2 different rosters, and they've both had a great performance.
Certainly. I mean, we talked about Pino, you know, being that player. I talked about his nades earlier on the desk, and I do stand by that he usually has good nades. For some reason, on all of NIP, including Pino, their vertical nades from below on this AVG attack, I don't think one of them landed, right? They weren't finding utility. The shield on maps was a complete disaster for them trying to clear it. They were really struggling in that respect. They still won that bomb site every time they came for the attack. So it didn't end up being the end of the world for them. I guess, you know, round 12, they did lose it. But all in all, it did feel like that was a bit of a slip up on the nade department. Still, we did see some great picks coming in. He was like the top player, I believe, stats-wise on his team. Always going to be that guy that you see showing up. Unfortunate. Yeah, he's that guy. Unfortunate that he didn't have the best clip in that Kino moment, right? But all in all, still very good performance from him.
Yeah, so it's those individual performances as well that help both of these teams push through. But as you said it, you know, 5 hours of siege for M80. You're heading into this final map. I mean, I think even specifically that final round highlights perfectly the type of kind of headspace that they are currently in. Hopefully this break between the games helps them push the reset button onto that because of course it is very important. Because losing that round specifically, and it's not something we would have expected.
No. I mean, we're going back all the way to the beginning of this game. I feel like in the first few rounds, some of the NIP players were maybe over-peaking a little bit. Like, they were playing aggressive, but then M80 obviously learned into that, and they were like, oh, well, if you want to play aggressive, that's fine. I'm just going to hold my angles and be passive. And on numerous occasions, we saw NIP players walking into the line of sight that the M80 players were holding on to them. That looked like it was going to stall out a little bit for NIP. Still, they had match point for a long time. M80 came back. Eventually, the map goes to NIP. That's how it will be in the history books, fact-wise. Going on to Chalet as well, NIP having won 8 out of their 10 most recent matchups on that map. That's looking pretty promising for them. They like to pick that map as well, whereas M80 don't really pick it, but they only get it played against them or like in deciders.
So it's like a good day to be an NIP fan, but also not that good of a day to be an M80 fan. So you got to choose your camp. You were an M80 fan. So we're gonna head into Chalet, and I need you to hype them up here. I need you to give us the info, give us the deets. What can we be expecting? Can they close it out? Because Villa, I don't want to talk about it.
Ginny, I am worried. I know you told me to hype this up.
But you gotta hype it up. That's not what I asked for.
Listen, the M80 fans have had a long and tiring day, and I don't think it's going to get better for them. As Ann said, you know, they've played on this map before already. They played on Chalet. It was close, 7-5, right? I mean, it was definitely a map that could have gone either way when they came against NIP. But still, I mean, this is a really strong map for Ninjas in Pyjamas. For M80, still good, 75% win rate on the year.
That's
but
good.
Lower quality opponents across the board, and when they went in that head-to-head, obviously we saw which way that ended the first time. So combine that with the way the momentum has shifted after map number 2, it's gonna need something real special from M80.
Jesse, you clearly never heard of a cheerleader, have you? No, he hasn't. Anne, would you like to do the honors?
There's gonna be one thing I'm looking forward for M80. Like the last time they played against NIP on Chalet, M80 won no defenses at all. So if they win 1, okay, it's progress.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would be looking forward to that. I feel like both teams are better on the attack than they are on the defense, stats-wise, on this map. It should be favoring NIP, though they played this map earlier today, so they also have showed a little bit on what they like to do on this map.
Yeah, but realistically as well, they played it earlier today whilst M80 was also playing. So the realistic approach of them having that opportunity to see this game probably hasn't happened. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I also would be if it didn't. So I think in general, M80 are currently maybe not in the most favorable spot. It's really just about hitting that reset button and coming into this and looking at it as a best of 1 because you're back to square one. Both of these teams have won a map.
Yeah, they're really going to need to buckle down and get that momentum behind them. But I do think they've got a strong coaching staff who are really good at getting them in that mental state. You know, you talk about guys like Budega who really are like dedicated mental coaches to get the team, you know, in the right headspace, hyped up, make sure that they are fully focused on the game ahead of them. So, you know, M80, they have that structure behind them. We've seen them come back from tough spots before. This is a tough one for sure, but it's doable, of course. They're a good team.
It definitely is. I mean, they're looking pretty relaxed right now. I was really curious if we're going to see similar type of footage of them standing outside, talking to Bodega, for example. But they look pretty relaxed going into this. I hope that their stamina is going to be good enough to keep up with another potential full map of Siege coming in. The concentration needs to be there. I see a little bit of a yawn from one of the NIP players, so it is getting late. But I hope they both have enough stamina, so it can be a good match, a good final match.
Okay, do we want to throw predictions into this before the last 10 seconds hit?
And go first.
I mean, stats-wise, you gotta back up NIP for this one.
All right. All right. Okay.
Feeling-wise,
Jesse?
I was ride or die NA earlier today with Oxygen. I don't think I can do it again after how that one went. I'm going NIP as well.
All right, NIP up against M80. It's do or die for both of these teams, so let's get it started.
Ginny, Anne, Jesse, thank you all very much indeed for the wonderful work that you guys do on the desk. Now, Demo, we have seen a resounding yes for NIP there. What are your thoughts moving into this final map?
M80.
See, I think M80 as well. I'm kind of surprised about Jesse, honestly. Like, you know Jesse a little bit better than me. You've worked with him quite a few times. Can be a bit of an NA shield. He's turned tail here.
Don't worry, me, the Auction boys, the M80 boys, we'll take them side later on. We'll tell them what's up, right? And then you'll see him come in tomorrow. And it'll be Auction going to win the whole thing.
Yep.
M8 are going to win the whole thing.
That's what we want to see.
Do not worry.
From our NA analyst there. Moving into the final map of the day, it is going to be Chalet. We've been blessed with a 3-mapper for our final map here. Our final series here, should I say. The upper bracket final of Group A. Dokkaebi, Monty, Jaeger, all to be removed. The Monty being removed there by M80. It didn't really provide as much effect as we've seen it do previously from NIP when they brought it on Villa, but it still warrants a ban here nonetheless. Asami, the final defender, to be removed. Let's hope we have a fantastic final map.
There's the bans. Ying up. Blaz is up.
Just quickly, I absolutely love the background that M80 are rocking at the minute.
Yes,
it's in the battle pass. I got trolled for using that background.
Look at Pino.
Because apparently it's cheesy.
Look at Pino, the only one with the NIP. The rest of them not interested in repping the brand. Keno's a real one.
We, of course, have already seen NIP play this map today, Demo.
Yep.
Played it earlier on against Falcons,
Look
who,
good.
by the way, spoiler alert for anyone that's waiting to watch the G2 Falcons game, Falcons are doing quite well at the minute.
Don't talk.
It's looking a little bit scary for G2. Demo is in a little bit of a grump here, so we're going to have to drag him out of it. But jokes aside, NIP played this map earlier today against Falcons, where they won 7 rounds to 3. Very successful Chalet they did have. They picked up 5 rounds on the defense, 2 rounds on the attack. Starting off on the defense here, we're expecting more of the same, let's be honest.
I will say that NIP, this is going to be like the kind of culture shock that they're going to have to deal with. Sure, it's all good playing against Falcons, as we've seen earlier, but Falcons didn't really stand a chance against them. This is M80. This is a team which knows this map really, really well. This is a strong map for them. It's a map where you can play very fast. You can play with the Ying, and a lot more of positions that are just going to be so strong for not only yourself as the Ying pushing in, but for your team to also execute. You think about Candelos being popped up in towards office, in towards bedroom. Then the guy like Double Window, for example, gets free range because of that. There's so many positions that Ying is so good on Chalet, and they'll take advantage of that. No Warden, which is going to cause big issues. I'm expecting to see a lot of value out of Keno.
And there's no real reason why you wouldn't bring the Warden, right? You've probably got room for it in the lineup. You could maybe sacrifice.
They love Castle NIP today, don't they? They love the Castle.
They do like the Castle. And M80 have read quite well into that because they've just gone, great, we'll bring the Zephyr.
We'll bring Flores.
We'll bring the Zephyr, we'll bring Flores, we'll bring Ash. We can deal with all of those Castle barricades at range. We don't need to get anywhere near them. And guess what? We can deal with the deployable shields as well, provided we jump onto the piano demo. That's the key step that was seemingly missed out there.
Let's see, take 2.
We'll just forget that we saw the first attempts.
Here we go. Here's the first Flores drone moving in.
And there it is.
Hold your breath. Hey!
Congratulations, step 1 complete.
M80 looking to almost play a little bit more of an aggressive standpoint, of course, trying to maybe move in and actually get some kills. Some teams will just stand back, Ollie, and just try and work their way in towards the bomb site, but no, they're going aggressive. Wizard, this is a position we've seen him play a few times earlier, Ollie, and he will get a down, but everyone else around him has fallen, Ollie. It's only Wizard now on a 1 versus 3, essentially. Keno will have to go and be revived. He's not on the site, he's towards the half wall. The breach isn't even open, it's only just a head hole height for him, and Wizard will creep in towards blue. Fine exploit, though. Keno's still downed. Still downed. Will get finished off, but as you can see, 2 players have now rotated, but he had the diffuser! He had the diffuser!
That's the all-important information right there. That's why Wizard is choosing not to move at all. This all hinges on how much information he's got. Now, there was a bulletproof inside of the site that could provide him a little bit of something, likely only going to be sound unless Iconic does push through. But Wizard isn't in a terrible spot here.
It's a good eye.
It'd be an ace if he clutches it out. Iconic going to approach the window, see if there's anything he can find. Wizard has already repositioned, but Iconic is a little bit better, a little bit quicker to the draw there, and is able to shut any hopes of a quick clutch out. M80 successful in round number 1.
Closer, Wizard. Give it a good shot there, didn't he, Ollie?
What a pickup he's been for NIP as well. I know it's a pickup that's quite old now at this point. We haven't really got to cast NIP all too many times. So it's great to sort of just highlight that and say, fantastic addition to the squad.
Also his cons as well. I love, you know, we loved him back in the day, and here he is in NIP as well, along with the old guard, obviously. You know, not too long. I mean, again, is this where we're getting old, Ollie? You know, I still remember whenever Pino and Muzi got picked up. You know, they got announced as the kind of 2 new wonder duo, didn't they? And they've been around for quite a while now.
A good attempt, but it was only ever an attempt. Iconic there. Great little heads-up play. Look at Spoy, he's handed his pocket.
He's so memeable today, hasn't he? We've obviously
so chilled out.
Kraken pick off him now that can be circulated throughout the timeline.
He got 2 assists in that round, and he's just sat, 1 hand on the keyboard. Yeah, he might be flicking a cam or something. He's just resting his mouse
He
hands.
doesn't watch cams, don't be silly.
No, there'll be someone else dead for that. That's someone else's job.
He's there for the ride.
A little bit of a site change. We're going to go downstairs this time. I wouldn't have been too mad if NIP had tried again upstairs, because it didn't go terribly for them.
I mean, it kind of. I mean, it was a 1v4 there at that stage.
They could have brought the Warden this time. They could have played the Warden again.
I mean, the Ying itself didn't really do much, but actually the Candelas were good again for helping the rest of the team swing in double window. I mentioned
Diaz
before.
did a lot.
Swings off the double window. You have the guys in the bathroom window, for example. That's where Ying, it's good just for a team environment. It helps everyone. It's going to help your team push. It's going to put, you know, obviously the defense under a lot of pressure. That's the main thing that Ying happens, because as soon as you hear a Candela go off, you just know, well, had a good run.
Something's going to happen, yeah.
No contact with RC.
Minute gone. Not much happening at the moment from M80, just doing the groundwork, getting the droning done. And M80, this is what they'll do. You know, sometimes they'll eye up every option they have. They've done this in Border quite a few times, didn't they? They were able to see, okay, he's here, he's there. There's a barbed wire there. There's a bit of utility here. Oh, there's nothing there. Let's go for that. That's how they'll play Siege. That's the way the best teams do it.
Well, that is the fundamental of the split theory, isn't it? It's finding that gap, finding that weakness, and then looking to try and exploit it. We can see at the moment, there's a big pressure up on those solar stairs. We've got Kino on the rappel. He's going to stun in, and that's going to allow a little bit of free reign of passage. You've got pre-fire shots to enable all of that as well. And all of a sudden, we've got a bit of control inside of Solar. Now where can we look to push with that? We've got Muzi hiding out in bathroom. Unsure if he's known or not. I will guess by that he isn't. What a headshot onto Gomez. Maybe finds another here onto Spoit. The chip damage coming through the wall. The Candela won't be effective. Spoit laid prone. Can't land the shot though. Will be taken out by Kino.
Kino finds two. Diaz on the bathroom window, still trying to clear some of that utility off with the Flores drones. Sees upstairs that there's no one here, so M80, they do have their top floor control. 2 players stuck in connector, 1 player on the bottom of blue. So M80 should be able to move in, and we don't really have too much verticality. 2 breaching charges, no way of getting open the hatches. Both hatches reinforced, but only one of them, Ollie, was actually electrified for the Kaid. Maybe a misplay there from Wizard. You would have expected, if you're going to reinforce the hatches, also go for the Electro Claw, but no, just in the bar they've done. Instead, they used one on connector wall.
Yeah, connector, it's actually achieved 2 uses there as well, because you've got the mirror window that is going to be played by Cons. It is good, but it does leave you with a bit of a stack up inside of that small closet, and that's maybe something that M80 can look now to start to exploit. Diaz, he's going to move his way through, pick one up onto Pino, but the hard work isn't done yet. You've got to make your way into sight, and Cons is going to be there to say, no, thank you, not today. Psycho, he gets the headshot onto the final player, body shot at least, as Diaz will fall as he makes his way through that rotation. Much better there from NIP. They really took the time on that. I felt like they weren't trying to force a single kill. They were really happy to dig into that power position.
And that's because Muzi did the majority of work. Wasted a lot of time, took kills, took a bit of damage off players, and whenever it got to that minute mark, they were like, okay, we're happy with what we've achieved. We've wasted 2 minutes. We've burned a lot of the utility. We've got some kills. Now let's just go sit behind our indestructible windows.
And if you look at the take that M80 went for, it's not unusual to go through Solar.
No.
But it isn't always the norm when you're attacking into that side for 3 people to go through Solar. Now, if there's a problem over there that you feel like needs dealing with,
obviously,
deal with it. Yeah. But typically you're going to be looking more toward library. You're maybe going to be looking toward getting that stock wall open. Obviously, in this instance, it was electrified, so that was a little bit more difficult to do. But it was still never dealt with. You can't just see it's electrified and go, oh, we can't go that way, we'll have to go the other way. Because that ultimately comes back to bite you right at the end of the round. It's like, where did the final kill come from? It came from stock. Why did it come from? Because the wall was electrified.
Attackers must locate
2 rounds done and dusted. NIP, they make the appearance. There's Pino in the clash again, Ollie. We had a great time watching him display this operator whenever they against Falcons earlier on, and we've seen, you know, jump out. Pino was by Trench at one stage, jumped off the balcony by Bedroom. Down into Trench they went. Oh, look at this, Gomez on the window, got it popped open for him, but nobody's home. No one's there, but they have eliminated that castle barricade. Again, these castles keep coming in for NIP. They really enjoy it. I'm surprised teams haven't maybe thought, you know, let's actually ban it. We see there's a lot of castle, a lot of strats for this team.
It's a great utility soak though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's forced, you know, Sophia coming in, Flores as well. I'm not saying these are like bad operators, but you know,
Sophia is nowhere near what they were though.
No, again, slowness is a big one. Yeah. Being a 1-speed, it's just not favorable. I know that well, I don't do 1-speeds. I don't do them.
No, I think, you know, you don't look at M80 and think that any of them want to play a 1-speed, because you imagine them all as this very quick to act unit, and you've not got that if you're on a 1-speed.
No.
Lights on.
Oh, Spoit there, just jiggle peeking with Psycho.
Gomez makes up for it though, Ollie. It's the refrag with the other G460 and Kino. Did he even mean to get that kill? I don't know.
Of course he did. He pressed mouse
know.
1. If you fire the bullet, you mean to get the kill.
He spread, he fought. Just 2 more to be sure. Oh.
Headshot through the wall, why not?
It's extra credit right there. Speaking of Kino, he has a diffuser, Ollie. Could maybe look for a plan using the Candelas, of course. 3 of them still in the pocket. Diaz, this is such a strong position on the window. Do not get killed though, Diaz. Because if they lose him, then anyone can swing from bedroom. Wizard has that shield still. I'm surprised that's still up whenever there is a Sophia who may need to rotate. Even Gomez with a nade. Use a nade, Gomez. It will work. How is that Selma charge being able to just hit the bottom off there? Do you see that?
And the M80 doing a great job of not rushing things here. They know that they've got the advantage. They know they don't need to do anything too fancy. Gather a bit of information. Take your foot off the gas momentarily. That's exactly what they did. Great opening picks as well. You really can't doubt that.
See the replays. I see some of those kills. I think Gomez's kill just before Kino's come in was quite an important one as well. Spoit 0-3. Hasn't really hit the ground running on Chalet. Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. See, this is what I was saying earlier in the first game demo, where that just doesn't happen to me. That's what happens to me if I play Clash and try and do that. Whereas Pino against Falcons, he was outside for 30, 40 seconds at a time. You can't get away with those sort of plays.
Yeah, when you play Clash versus someone else plays Clash.
Exactly. Pino's giving himself away very, very softly there.
I mean, for NIP, doing the same things again, surely you're just asking for trouble. Because I would say we were both very surprised with some of the stuff NIP were able to get over Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we said that. We knew that Falcons weren't going to be the big test. You know, the long jump, we'll say.
Keep picking them up, because they're doing well against G2.
They are? No. I'm not, hey, look, we said, you know, Falcons, they have a chance to bounce back. You know, we said that the playstyle, again, it was the playstyle more than anything for NIP, which Falcons didn't really do well against, because it is more of a slower, methodical playstyle. Against a team like G2, where you will have time, you know, chances for individual gunfights, for example, that's where Falcons will take advantage, and well, what have Falcons done against G2?
Same old from NIP here with the castle barricade. Not been going too badly for them, so why change it? Wizard has changed his hot seat this time. He's instead opted to control that deployable shield a little bit more, which is a great play. We saw a little bit of trouble previously from NIP trying to deal with that shield on top of Piano. And instead of playing back and maybe a little bit more passively, he's gone, yeah, you know what? I'm going to try and deal with it before it becomes too much of a problem. Deployable shield on the half wall will fall, but the all-important one on the Piano will remain. Just gives the defenders something else to peek from that area.
Wizard pulls it back as Gomez got the opening pick. It's better from NIP. Sure, give away the opening kill, which we know they do a few times, although at least get the kill back. That's important. We don't really look at the opening stats as much if there's like a kill immediately after a second. That's the main thing. Getting the opening kill and then maintaining that lead. That's the issue. Wizards. On for a second there. The one-man charge will eat up the flashbang. Drops down into Solar. I always feel that's a risky jump to go for, because if someone's on that window, you're done.
You're waiting to land in someone's lap, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just say thank you very much. You're hitting the cameras before your body's even touched the ground.
There goes Kino. Prepping the Candelas, in it goes.
It's a good chunk of damage, though.
I mean, there is really nothing, you know, to play against these Candelas, essentially, around. They're just a spray of bullets. He tries to jump in, but no. The Candelas, it can only reach so far, Ollie. It doesn't look towards the solar stairs. Above, there seems to be a pick as well. Pino, who went unchecked. M80 in dire straits. Spoit will find Pino, but they've lost a lot of men. They've lost the Candela diffuser cold as well, Ollie, on the ground. At 2v2.
Just goes to show how punishing it can be when you don't clear that top floor sufficiently. Spoit cleared it, but it was too late, and I don't know that they put enough focus in that area of the map at the start. Muzi's still going to be upstairs, maybe looking to play a little bit of spoiler here. Surely the call-out will now come, and Muzi can collect. Locks us into a 1 versus 1. Can he pre-fire through the wall? No, Gomez makes it happen! M80, how have you done that one then?
Wow, 2v2. Spoit almost like full sprinting at the player bottom solar stairs and then wins that engagement. And Gomez, all they had to do was just wait. He knew who the guy was because he just killed Spoit. It's just an outright gunfight, and they are 33. It wins.
That feels like a round that M80 shouldn't have gotten away with. They didn't clear the top floor. Nope. They cleared it late.
Didn't clear Solar. Didn't really put enough pressure on Solar Stairs because, you know, you have the Candelas with that long angle all the way back, Ollie. It's...
The diffuser got cold on the ground. I don't know. I feel like Gomez has done a fantastic job to pick up that final kill. Spoit did what he could. Creeped through that top floor.
Did well.
Was successful.
Killing that guy bottom Solar Stairs was massive for Spoit.
I think the M80 themselves maybe feel as though that maybe wasn't a round that they should have won.
Yeah.
Because they've called a timeout.
So
they know that things aren't going exactly to plan.
That's a really weird one. Up. They're 3-1 up, early call out, which sometimes we even say if teams are 3-1 down and they use a call out, it's a little bit, you know, hit or miss. But it's M80, you know, who are winning have called the timeout. It's the first time I've seen that happen before. Maybe Bodega's thought, we could be on for a 5-1 half here. You get the 5-1 half, you've done most of the work. And then NIP are under pressure. And then they know NIP and the attacks, that's where they can exploit them.
And let's be honest, that's what the best teams do. The best teams aren't happy with just winning a round. They want to go through and they want to say, right, we won the round, but this could have been a lot better.
Because it's tighten it up. It's giving them a chance, especially Bodega watching, to see how NIP have been playing. It gives them a chance to see, right, they went for this approach, now we're going to flip it, we're going to change something a little bit different. One thing there hasn't really been today is any rushes. You know, sometimes we see a diffuser get planted at like 2 minutes 20, for example. With none of that. Both teams have been very content in trying to get map control first before they even think about getting a plant down.
A little bit of a change up here from M80. That timeout obviously affecting the operator picks as well.
More flank protection, it seems to be might
see the Nomad.
Yeah, the thing that they thought, yeah, we need to get this sorted. Which, in fairness, there's been a few times NIP have been kind of, you know, let loose, and Nomad could be there just to control them a bit more. Kino on Solar Window will use the Candela. This is what I mean. It'll create space for Diaz to swing off the window if someone is in bedroom.
Psycho gets a good bit of info there. He now knows that there is going to be a Candela in hand. We're seeing an Ace Charge used to open up the window. That's not exactly typical. Psycho makes good on that info on Kino, and the kills continue here for NIP. Diaz on the upside down repel, not able to do too much with it. Gomez looking for a collection downstairs, but Pino, he hits him with the alternate angle.
Wow.
This could be a flawless here for NIP. You might be regretting that timeout in a few seconds, as Diaz is going to be the final player to fall to Wizard. NIP. Something you forget. If you take a timeout, it also gives the opposing team time to talk as well.
What a timeout.
And guess what? NIP have still got their own in their back pocket.
They do indeed.
Always risky to take the timeout, especially when you are above. And a team like NIP, they love a timeout demo. They're a very effective team after that tactical timeout. A little bit of a pause in play, a little bit of a break, they take full advantage of it.
Here's the swing. Just caught him just before the Candela.
Full white flash kill, why not?
Just before they got him. Everyone else was pretty easy to take care of. Oh, Moosey. He's played well today. He's had some really good performances. I mean, NIP overall, you know, both teams. It's been a great series, great day for both of these teams. I can keep in mind, whoever loses this, they're not out. They're not out.
Not out.
Still have tomorrow. Also, we have the conclusion of how our B group will be sorted out tomorrow in the afternoon, our first set of games. That will be to see who actually gets eliminated first from Group B. And then we will have, of course, our decider matches, see who goes in to the playoffs also.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
And this will be where we find our first team Ollie to go into the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, whoever wins this game, they have a day off tomorrow. Because they go straight into the semis, which is our...
yeah, they go straight through to qualify.
Yeah, which is our Saturday and Sunday. Day off, would they like that?
That's a good opportunity to rest and recuperate, isn't it?
Two have a day off tomorrow, don't they? I think, potentially. A few days off? A week off?
I think either team here is deserving of a day off tomorrow. You think about the day that M80 have had leading themselves up to this point. They've played 2 best-of-3s that have gone all the way. NIP played a little bit less Siege, but it's probably been equally as stressful for them. Especially given that they were able to come back on that previous map of Chalet.
So we have the Jackal, which is obviously going to help them clear out some roamers, which NIP, they've certainly, you know, approached the roam game a little bit more this this match. They also have the Fuse. They might have the Fuse. I wonder if they're going to go for the Fuse trick where you fuse the top fireplace right beside the double window. The cluster charges then will then travel down onto the secondary flooring, which will then open that up. So it's a very safe way of opening vertical angles on Wine Cellar via the Fuse. And you see Gomez is up in that position. Just waiting for him to place it down. He's not going for it at the moment. All 5 players of NIP, Ollie, have went back to bomb site. It feels though they may wish they didn't whenever that floor starts to get opened up above them.
Yeah. Go back to the side, but you've now got no ceiling.
Look at this. This is classic Siege. This snowmobile open with the verticality and lobby. We don't see these all too often.
This is a great utilization of the Fuse as well. There's no operator in the game that can do that effectively. You know, you think that Fuse is all for, you know, going into directly the side, get some lines of sight, rip open that floor. You couldn't do that with a book in 5 minutes. Look at it. 2 canisters, bish bash bosh.
Brilliant. Who actually invented this? Who came up with this first? What psychopath thought, yeah, I'm going to do this?
Certainly works. Now the site isn't a favourable place to be.
They need to get Wizard, though, because he is a C4 Prime. Not only is he a C4 Prime, he's the Warden who can see through these smokes.
Psycho's just got a really important kill there over on Topino. Spoit will respond. He's in the hot seat with the diffuser outside of the breach. Right about now that you wish you had a glass or something like that. If you're going to throw that much smoke, you need to be able to see through it. Gomez with the drop, takes down Wizard. With it goes the glasses and a C4. Kills continue now to be threatened as Muzi is able to take Diaz down. The plant is now going to be attempted.
Where's that going?
Full collapse. Where is the control? Where is the cover? Well, it's in the hands of Iconic, of course. Muzi, he's here hiding out inside of the smoke. How did he survive for so long?
Did you see that C4? Where was it? Was it going to the moon? What was that C4? Easily, just so far, it's just hit the ceiling immediately. Oh dear, NIP. That Warden pick, huge. Huge from Gomez.
He just didn't play it like a Warden, though. You can't play in a corner like that as a Warden. That's a mute's position.
I get that, but there wasn't really a like, the breach wasn't smoked. If the breach is smoked, that's where he swings. He can't exactly like swing from that position, or else he'll get clipped by Spoit.
The smokes were much better.
I want to see the C4 again. Do we even get the catch it again? Where's that going?
Oh, I think you got to give him the pass. Tino's in the middle of the smoke there. He's just going for the best he can. Go for
anything. Doesn't he just have to do something?
It's not even like it's on Villa where you can use the excuse of the beams that come out of the ceiling about 4 feet.
Guessing that's from experience. You've mentioned that. Has that hit a nerve?
No.
Hit a memory, a flashback, perhaps.
You can't do that and then detonate it while you're underneath it. You'll die.
So downstairs from M80, you'll see one thing that they've done, which is a bit more of a common strat. That Wine Cellar wall looks straight down into the big garage. Right side wall is going to be open. The reason why they do that, Ollie, is so they can impact trick that reinforced wall. The left side is very specific to have, because that's the side that will open up that connector door. You don't really get the same angle. You can forfeit the left side. It's all about having that right side shut.
Especially when you bring in something like a Thermite, it can be a little bit difficult. Of course, in this case, Thermite is going to be used for that main breach, the snowmobile.
Pop the Goyo, just in case there was a rush, just in case.
You never know. Place the Goyo there, why not?
They have a bulletproof anyway to keep tabs on that side of the map. But yeah, very run-of-the-mill. You'll see this from sides where, yes, it will probably be a trench push in the end, but you just open snowmobile just to keep the defenders on their toes. And you never know, you might rotate someone there late, which happens sometimes, and you'll find 1 or 2 kills.
It's always handy to have. Gomez has got a little handy-dandy cam of his own, though, inside those trash bins.
A lot of roamers.
That's going to give him an option to have a good idea as to who is coming through that breach and when. Great little bit of intel there.
One guy on the cam's in sight. He's feeding all that information over to the roamers, and there is 4 of them at the moment only. Probably why they bring the Goyo, in case he does start to feel a bit pressured. He can't give himself more control to allow his teammates to get back downstairs if needed. Is the hatch open for M80 inside dining? It is, yeah. So that will give them, of course, the option of denying anyone trying to plant in towards trench, towards the barrels. But NIP, again, this is where it feels as though they haven't really done much. But we know this is where it starts to brew.
Yeah, this is all in the setup. You've got to really take stock of what is available to you here, and you can't just get hasty at the fact that there's a load of roamers. You also can't just run at windows.
Great refrag.
He's going to be traded back there by Iconic. We're going to see some toxic waves now to stop the flow of attackers come through. We talk about impact tricks. It doesn't look like it was successful there. No one in position to do so.
I'll tell you why, because the guys with impacts were the ones roaming upstairs.
Kino, to find one before he too gets taken out. Control of blue now is in the hands of Cons. He could quite easily go for a plant here. This isn't something that the hatch can really affect. You would have to drop really to be able to do anything with that. He's got a player outside of the snowmobile as well. This could be devastating. You might be able to cut these roamers back as they try and re-enter the site. We've got Diaz. He's dropped down. Muzi, does he know? Looks as though he's kind of aware here. He's certainly going to be aware now. Kills continue to come in. We're seeing him go for both sides. The diffuser hasn't been planted here. That is the all-important piece of information. Psycho, he's going to try and smoke off and just go for this plant. Still, Spoy and Diaz both up and ready. They maybe just need to wait for each other to buddy up to guarantee this one. Psycho, he's going to get a quick line of sight there, but it isn't going to be enough. The Goyo was popped. Didn't really matter. I think Diaz, that kill might be confirmed. I think he might be confirmed. Plenty of time for Spoy to disable that diffuser. Not enough time to write easy on the wall, though. Unfortunately for you, you're going to run out of bullets.
How do you know that's what he was doing, by the way? How did you know from that?
What else are you going to be writing?
You've showed your toxic side there, haven't you?
Mine's the smiley face.
Your smiley face?
Yeah.
No, I have to test my CQ number. Things like that happen. Gomez, I don't think he knew someone was on the window. But this from Iconic, great little refrag that just to get it there immediately. Kino in the thick of it again, wasn't he? That shotgun. Fresh has made a statement. He's the best shotgun player in the world.
It's bold, but I don't think it's wrong.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
M80, 5-2 up, Ollie.
Looking good so far.
It's running away from NIP.
We've all seen what a lead can do, though. A lead can change quite quickly.
It certainly can.
NIP, they still have a tactical timeout as well. Now, of course, it's the switch. We're going to see NIP hit the attack up now. The second round of that happening. So it's in and around now where you start thinking about that tactical timeout. The defense is well and truly in the rearview mirror. Now you just need to focus on your tracks. I would guess that if NIP lose here, obviously it's going to be match point to M80. You've got to start thinking about that timeout.
Yeah. Iconic 11-4, Ollie. I haven't mentioned that. Great performance from him. He said he was a little bit quiet during the first map. Didn't really have to do much in quarter, albeit.
He's had some heavy lifting to pick up here, though. There's been a little bit of a lack from some of the other players on the team. Oh, you got a cough?
No,
right?
just a hatred for certain stuff.
When you look at someone like Kino, who had a standout game over on Villa as well.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that's one of the strengths of this M80 side is that it really doesn't matter who gets the kills. There's a lot of people that can pick up slack everywhere.
Honestly, they're really growing into a team, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's one thing. Whenever they were on the circuit last year for the first time, they were just, there's these Brazilians who are playing in the American League. And you think, oh, boy, that's not going to last very long, is it? But hey, credit to that little trio. They've kept on moving. They've brought in the right players, the right caliber of players that they've needed. I don't think there's been two better, like a transfer window. Could you get better than pick up those two?
Muzi. Quite interested in mud window. It's not all the time you see someone upside down rappel on that window. Not a great deal to look at, but sometimes there may be a defender hanging around, and that's exactly what he found. NIP. Going to be trying to take control of these solar stairs. They've got Cons on the Ying to help assist that. I'm not sure if they've got anyone out on the rappel, though. Candela is going to go up. We do have an upside-down rappel over on that bathroom, and that's going to assist taking Spoit down. Well, the Fenrir gadget just slows things down a little bit.
Yeah, very good against the Ying. We've seen that a few times. Iconic, what a run out! A long one eliminates the player in double window and still gets away from it. Also, he's downstairs. Psycho. He's almost pretty much in the site. Ollie is inside trophy. Muzi moves in towards West Main, will find Iconic, and they're also inside of sight. Kino pulls one back, both of them upstairs. Gomez, he has to win this engagement against the ace to pull it back, but no, he doesn't. Kino has to clutch now one versus free. Will drop down, has the SMG in hand. Eliminates the drone, there's a player right beside him, they have no idea to drop now, they do, the shotgun comes in, that's a solo shotgun! That doesn't quite hit the same as the smoke ollie for Kino. NIP, that was a fast round from NIP, that's unlike them, but it's worked really well.
Lightning quick for NIP standards. I think they did a great job of funneling those players on the top floor. Villa's one of those maps where you really can start to affect outside to in. This is something that I'll talk about quite a bit when we see this map come up. So many great angles, so many great crossfires, solar repel, bathroom balcony and the bathroom window, you've got the piano window. There's so many different options for getting those kills outside to in. And I think that with the addition of the Ying, they did a fantastic job with that. Look at this for an outside to in. Moosey's on the roof.
There's
you can't even see him. You can see his feet at that point.
There's 10 outside windows for that top floor.
It's ridiculous. And if you've got that coordination, you've got that info on the drones, and then you can use your utility to funnel those players, you will be rewarded. And that's exactly what NIP just did.
Psycho just kept shooting. He felt, you know, eventually I'll get.
It wasn't a good engagement for either of them, really, was it?
Just keep going. Lots
Psycho's
of
been favouring those DMRs.
Yeah, a few people have.
Yeah.
I always think that I always think he uses.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. You know, he's the one that really. Him and Solotov, they love those guys, don't they?
Attackers are moving.
I've just not got the trigger finger for it.
Old man trigger finger.
It's like I'm firing a break barrel shotgun. I get a quick 2-tap and then I've got to re-aim from. I've got to drag my mouse down from
like
the ceiling.
Clay pigeons shooting the things went all the way up.
Honestly.
Anywho, over to bar now is where we head to. M80 again favouring this solos very heavily, isn't it? But it's worked really well for Iconic, being able to spot out who's there, what gadgets they have. NIP had a fair share of it as well. It worked really well for them. NIP, on the other hand, you know, a Thatcher comes in. What purpose does the Thatcher serve?
We were talking about this earlier, weren't we?
The only thing I'm thinking of is literally there's two things, right? Oh, okay, 3 things, but 2 of them are a massive stretch. One is disable the WAMI charges from using the rooftop. The EMP will catch it, and then you can nade. And then the other 2, which is such a stretch, disable the goggles, and then disable the Souls gadget.
Yeah, I mean, disabling the goggles isn't... You know, I don't think that's the biggest stretch in the world, but it's not like you're bringing the Ying.
You're not, like... You don't know where Warden is, you know, it's...
Yeah, it's a difficult one to try.
I don't know why they dropped it. It's no sense for me.
But the flip side, look at what they really struggled with when... Look what M80 really struggled with when they attacked this site. They struggled with that reinforced wall that was electrified in stock.
Yeah, well,
so
mirror window on it as well.
It does give an option to try and deal with that.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
First pick does go in favor of NIP. Speaking of the Thatcher.
The Goggle Man.
Or not the Thatcher, that's actually a sledge you got that one, the L8. And yeah, like you said, down goes the Warden, so maybe some value from the flashbangs and the smokes might come in. Another nade from Pino. Misses though, doesn't go through the holes.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Pino leads us safe. There's anything right now inside a connector. No nades to worry about.
Wizard, he's going to find one over onto Gomez. Slowly but surely, NIP are whittling these defenders down. And there's no option for a trade here. M80 are playing quite separated. They're not giving themselves that chance of hitting that immediate trade back. There's a bit of information here available for Spoit. Cont has been downed.
Frosty.
Frostman. Unforgivable. It isn't going to slow NIP down too much, though. Iconic, he'll be the next player to fall to the hands of Moosey. It's now all down to Spoit and Kino.
Spoit is in a good position. Now it locks down lobby. It means that no one can really go near bar door, fire some bullets in. Even above will start to be opened up against him. Spoit now has to relocate. Oh, almost his knees get shot. Wizard, he's been down. What's happened over there with him?
Well, Spoit downed him through the song, didn't he? Wizard should be able to get picked up now.
15 seconds remaining.
Danger is, where's the kit? The kit isn't in the hands of any of these attackers, and you're going to have to find that final kill over onto Spoit, because he might just keep himself alive here. Picks himself up 1. Can he find the second? The kit hasn't been recovered here. It's a 1 versus 1. Spoit's going to find it. The time would have done the rest anyway, but he still comes up with the kills. He's been on a marathon that round.
2 versus 4. NIP. You need to be closing them out.
Why wasn't the diffuser planted? Where was the kit? Spoit's literally got a down from inside of dining. He's then gone down west main stairs, up main stairs.
Spoit's done nothing this game as well. Very little. He's
done quite a bit there.
He's just gained back positivity. Look, he was 3 and 6. Yeah. Now he's 6 and 6.
keep an eye on this diffuser. We can't even see it there.
These replays are great.
10 seconds.
You talk, like, I'll be honest, we are mortals. We do miss things.
The
Dropped in
diffuser's
connector.
inside a stock?
That's Kano. Kano's done that. Yeah, dropped in connector.
Dear me. Why is someone taking the diffuser into connector?
Because they thought, oh, I'll kill this guy after he just killed my teammate. But he got both of them. That was the issue. Kano not just got one, he got two.
Hang on a minute. We've seen the castle. I thought M80 were on the defense.
Your eyes do not deceive you.
It is proving
look,
ever popular.
W7M strat. And that's why. That's what both teams have been doing. They've been both doing the W7M strat. That's why. W7M earlier, of course, we've seen them win against Canig. Against Cyclops, it's a good win. It's expected for W7M, aren't they? They're hot favourites going into this competition.
I've seen one of your favourites here, Demo.
Blitz.
On a very important round.
So, remember I told you about the little blitz trick?
Yep.
So what you can do, Ash can go into West Main, and you can actually shoot an Ash charge below the bathroom window. Well, it's already open, but if that window's fully shut, it will break the barricade, but not break the glass. So it's actually a silent break, and then Blitz just hot drops in, just jumps in. Which is what he's doing.
Go
this is it.
Straight in now. Anyway, Psycho
this is
finds
me.
himself the first. Hello, you're gonna get him.
Yes.
Picks himself up the second. This is success.
This is
Never have seen it on the Blitz. Psycho's gained a ton of ground. Eventually gets DK'd by Muzi. That's not in the script. Kills flying in here for NIP. Oh boy, do they need them. This is match and series point potentially for M80. Everything slows down for a time, and it looks as though M80 are given an opportunity to try and stabilize here. Gomez finds one onto Muzi. This isn't how you want to be using that early wave of momentum that you've gained. Cons, he's going to go for a dive in, but he's not looking the right direction. He gets taken out by Iconic. It's now all down to Wizard.
They know where
he's
he
going
is.
to try and keep his team in this one.
They know he's outside because he just shot at Iconic. I wonder if there's any fear gadget set up, Ollie, because if there is, Wizards not only gets two players but one, but it doesn't even matter. Doesn't get that stage. Gomez catches him, he jumps in, and I thought that was brilliant from Psycho. That is a play out of my own heart. And then he gets TK'd.
It wasn't enough.
TK'd.
We saw a TK on Villa. Wasn't ideal for M80. Here we see a TK on Chalet.
Both teams losing maps to a TK.
Not ideal
that's incredible.
For NIP. I'm not sure if we can attest the whole map to that, but it certainly was a big factor there in that last round. M80, they're going to be successful here in the upper bracket final of Group A.
That's them in the semis. We'll see them on Saturday. They get the day off tomorrow. Credit to them. Two tough teams. They beat G2. They beat NIP, Ollie. They come top of the group. All credit to them. This young side who are still growing in. I always say give a roster 6 months once they make changes. We're only about 3 months in, and look at the results that we're having, obviously, with Sport and Iconic coming in.
Big result there against NIP. I think NIP are going to feel pretty unlucky, pretty hard done to by that. There were a lot of opportunities for them there in that, and they played some good Siege.
Yep, but they're not out. They're not out. We will have a rematch, Ollie. NIP versus Falcons is destined for tomorrow. And I would say it's going to be different than what happened today, especially what Falcons have done against G2.
Certainly looks as though Falcons have got a little bit more confidence under their belts. It's not really a spoiler anymore, but they were successful against G2.
Not watching
Anyone
both
that was
streams,
missing out on that game, but I'm sure everyone's got both streams open anyway. So it will be Falcons versus NIP tomorrow. M80, of course, they do get the bye. They are straight into the semis now. See them shaking hands here with NIP. A lot of history between these two teams, a lot of friendship as well.
Where's Bodega in there? Is he getting handshakes in?
I'm sure he is. I think he led the way. There he is. We can see him at the back there.
There he is. But yeah, good game, good series. Again, I think Villa was, in my opinion, the best map of the day. Great Villa, great showing from both sides. And then Chalet, again, it's just the preference. The first map and the third map, it suits M80's playstyle. You know, if we were throwing like a theme park in there, again, then you'd favor NIP. It's just you can see the clash of playstyles again. And NIP still just a little bit too old-fashioned for my liking.
I think you've got that fluid, that ability to play quite fluid on this map as well. You can play it slowly or you can play it quite quickly. Yeah. And we sort of saw the two sides of that coin. Don't forget, we just saw a flawless round in there for NIP. They had some fantastic rounds. Iconic was so confused about that C4. It's still going to be funny no matter how many times I watch it.
He done really well. Really well.
Onto the the cons round as well. Here we saw the run out that was
he was
fairly ambitious.
He really was everywhere, wasn't he, Iconic?
He played like a midfielder
A kill from every position.
He did fantastically.
My goodness. And then obviously this, Spoit.
Yeah, Spoit, I mean, you said it yourself. At the start of that round, he was 3-6. He ended that round 6-6.
This, I was loving it. Like, my face dropped. As soon as he got TK'd, my face just, it was a brilliant push from the Blitz. Oh, hate it.
There was the unfortunate team kill. Not quite the undoing of it all, but not far off. That's going to do it for our games here today. We still have a little bit in store for you, though, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be throwing over
there it
to
is.
our...
M80 booked the first spot in our playoffs, and for a neutral watching, what a banger that was. The funny thing is, me and Fancy were stood waiting to interview this man, Iconic, at the back end of map 2. It didn't happen. It went all the way. 3-map series. Are you exhausted? How is that from your perspective right now?
I mean, you know, we prepared last night, you know, that we could be possibly playing this late. So, you know, mentally, I felt like we were ready. On Villa, we let a few things slip. Like in the early round, we tried to bring it back, but, you know, Nips is an incredible team, you know, world championship caliber. So we know they had the composure to stay in it. And it was about us kind of bouncing back, working on the game plan, and just reacting to the game plan and just playing together.
زي ما شاهدنا اعزائنا المشاهدين ايكونيك معنا في المسرح كنا جاهزين ان نسوي معه مقابله بعد ما خلص الماب الثاني لكن باخر لحظه قدروا يقلبونها NIP اخذوها مره ثانيه M80 في الماب الاخير كانت مباراه من اجمل ما يكون سالنا ايكونيك انه هل الشيء هذا كان موتركم لكن قالوا لا بالعكس احنا واثقين متدربين من امس وجاهزين احنا لكل الفرق خصوصا انه البلانز حقتنا يعني جاهزه لاي سيناريو ممكن يطلع من الفريق الثاني بالاخير قدرنا نجيب الفوز وكان شيء مره قريب انه ما يسوونه.
Iconic, I always admire that, you know, that mental strength that it takes when you go all the way to an overtime map and then you've got to reset and get yourself back in the zone to go on to complete and finish the job. What was the team talk like at the back end of map 2?
Well, at the back end of map 2, we know it took major heroics for them to pull out our map. So, you know, we felt comfortable with that map and we just knew that we trust our game plan on Chalet and we just went out there and played.
كان نسألهم عن الكوميونيكيشن اللي صار ما بين M80 بالكامل بعد ما انتهى الماب الثاني خصوصا انه الوضع كان مره متوتر كان الجواب حقهم انه ايكونيك يقول بالعكس احنا الكوميونيكيشن احنا كنا عارفين وش اللي قاعدين نسويه وبنفس الوقت احنا كان احساسنا اننا مرتاحين للماب اللي احنا جالسين نلعب فيه فبغض النظر ان خسرنا الماب الثاني ولا لا احنا نقدر ان نجيب الماب الثالث.
Iconic, let me just draw your attention to something real quick. And I'm sorry, I never like to turn my back on a camera, but you see this right here? Right there. 2 series away from lifting that in the air and getting your hands on the lion's share of $2 million. You are literally in touching distance. Is that distracting, being that close, or are you still as laser focused as ever?
I'm laser focused as ever. So, you know, it's just the closer we get, I feel like the farther we get. You know, it's about staying in it mentally and not thinking we have what we don't have. So, you know, it's just about us going through each game and just game planning it and playing in each game and staying in the moment. So that's what we're going to do.
سألنا ايكونيك انه فقط عندهم جيمين ويقدرون انهم ياخذون التروفي هذا اللي ورانا الان ويكونون هم ابطال جيمرز 8 في هذا الموسم، هل الشيء هذا ممكن ياثر على ادائهم؟ لكن كان جوابه انه لا بالعكس احنا نحاول اننا ما نفكر بالشيء هذا ابدا ونحاول ان نكون ليزر فوكست على اننا فقط بنركز اننا نفوز المباراه حقتنا ولا نسوي اي شيء ثاني الا اننا نفوز الجيم ولا نحاول اننا نخلي الموضوع هذا يجي على بالنا اصلا.
All right, well, listen, congratulations. You are in the playoffs. You and your amazing team, M80, so far are massively living up to the hype, and what an iconic scene it would be to see you lift that trophy here in Saudi Arabia. Congratulations once again, and we're going to throw it back to the desk to pick this one apart.
يكفى العافيه اعزائنا المشاهدين زي ما احنا عارفين M80 قدامهم جيمين فقط ويقدرون انهم يوصلون لما الجراند فاينل وياخذون الكاس ويكونوا لصالحهم لكن هل يقدرون يسوونها بعد ما ضمنوا مكانهم في التوب 4 هذا الشيء اللي راح نعرفه غدا ان شاء الله لكن هنا انتهى الفقره اللي معنا في المسرح بنروح على طول الان نتوجه للاستوديو التحليلي نتكلم اكثر عن المباراه.
Thank you, Ian and Alfancy. Welcome back, guys, to the desk with the STC play post-match. Now, we have a lot to unpack for this one specifically because, again, it went the distance, but with that, M80 do qualify themselves into those playoffs. And we're looking at NIP. They're going to have to play Falcons tomorrow. Again.
Yes.
After Falcons won against G2. Like, I don't want to go up against them. What?
That looked like a whole different mindset. I mean, that's a whole different game to be talking about, but yeah. this game in specific, I feel like this was the decider map that we deserved for this matchup. The way it was so close, the way it was really tense between these two teams, the fact that M80 obviously came out victorious, but they weren't allowed to get away with a bigger lead than just 2 rounds versus them winning 2 rounds, and NIP came back with 1 round, M80 winning 2 rounds, and NIP coming back once again. Some really huge moments from individual players. We mentioned this, or we talked about the iconic run out, we talked about the clutch from Spoit. Sometimes there were moments where NIP even utilized these huge moments coming from M80 players. For example, that run out with iconic, he was outside, and then NIP was like, well, if you're outside, we're just gonna go flood the side, and then they took that control. Watching back these highlights as well, it feels like this was like hours ago. It was hours ago, but it feels like it was really long ago.
Yeah, I mean,
hours ago is really long ago.
Yeah.
It's been a long night, listen, and especially for M80, who not only had to play this one, but also a grueling best of 3 earlier today.
Yeah.
They certainly are going to be feeling good about their win this one. I do want to talk more about Iconic too, because throughout the series, we're getting highlights from maps 1 and 2. It didn't really feel like we were seeing Iconic be that kind of huge impact player that he has been in the past of this team. Not that that's a bad thing, right? Like, Spoit's kind of filled that role in a lot of ways. Kino had some big moments here on the second map of Villa, so it wasn't a bad thing. But then this map on Chalet, Iconic really came alive. He was making absurd plays, loved the way he was roaming around on the Solus, managing to find a lot of good intel for his team, act on that intel, get the trades in. Thought he was having a massive impact, especially on that defensive half to end out this series. So really, really nice from him. But yeah, it really felt like a game today here on M80 where everybody had a chance to shine at different points in the series.
Yeah, and that's also what we were looking for, because coming into this we said, okay, M80, they've had those grueling games, they really played against G2. I mean, that is a whole different beast that they were able to deal with. They could then come into this. On Villa, they're so close to closing it out. A little mistake here happens, and we have to go all the way to the 3rd map. So that's a lot of Siege that they've played today, and so much respect to them and the entirety of the roster for being able to pull through. But also NIP, when we're looking at how they've played, that is another team that we really need to highlight here, because they've gone this far.
They have, really, yeah. And I mean, obviously they got to go get a rematch against Falcons tomorrow. They'll have to look back at the game of Falcons today, because that obviously felt a little bit more like how, Falcons would be. But obviously deserved for M80 as well, right? They played 2 really grueling matches, and now they got a day off. They can enjoy. Iconic can go celebrate his MVP, for example.
Absolutely. Kitty MVP goes to Iconic, and you've already highlighted him yourself, Jesse. You already said that this is one of the players that really pulled his weight this time around. So no surprises there.
Certainly not, and it's nice that they get a day off considering the day that they've had for so long. It would have been so sad if they had to show up and play early again tomorrow, but yeah, very much deserved day off and very much deserved MVP from Iconic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole team really pulled through today, and that has shown. I believe the G2 match also went all the way to 3 maps, so it's like you played 6 maps of Siege today in one day. I don't think Fresh can beat that with his ranking, but still, the amount of resilience that you need to have, the adaptability, the fact that even after this, and Ian asking that question themselves, like, how are you feeling? They're still laser focused. They are not dwelling on what happened today.
Yeah, no, I was really inspired by the mindset from Iconic as well. Like, oh, the further we get to it, the closer we get to it, the further it feels away. Like, you really shouldn't be accepting like, oh, hey, well, we're nice in top 4 and everything, but you can't be like resting back or taking it easy from that point. Yeah, they had some more difficult matches, as we could say, but it's really good for them that they now finally qualify. They can take that rest. They can obviously watch the games tomorrow as well, because that will be their opponents that might be facing during those playoffs too.
Yeah, and the Kono's choice today in terms of some of the best plays that we've seen. I mean, of course, they're going to have to include Falcons in there, NIP, we're going to include M80. So all of these teams really today did show up and give their best.
Certainly, and I really did think that this was a match full of impressive plays, a match full of really sick stuff going on. We've got the replays playing for you now, and this 3rd map this game here,
Oxygen BDS. Yeah, I mean, these are from the whole day, so these are the choices every single game that we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic day coming through here. That one maybe less close than we would have wanted, especially
you
for me.
Yeah, you would have wanted.
But we got to see the power of BDS. Reigning champs, we want to see them coming out having a strong showing. We did get to see that coming in from them. So I think still looking like one of the potential favorites to go all the way, win this tournament. BDS, they'll be playing tomorrow, try to secure that spot in the finals. So they're definitely looking very good here as well. And then M80, of course, being there in the grand finals, in the playoffs already.
Yeah.
Top 4 now for the event. They've got to be very happy.
Yeah, they got it secure, they got it locked and loaded, and even when we looked at the prize pool earlier today, like, yes, it's $2 million on the line, and 750 of that goes to that 1st place, but even the fact that you've made it to that 4th place, and as well, mentioning earlier with the conversion in terms of the currency and everything. Like, this still means a lot, and they have achieved so much already in just day one.
Yeah, but like we also know how much this means to the players, right? And how high they value this tournament, how much they want to win it. Some crazy things happen. I mean, the growth that Falcons have shown just for today. If you haven't watched that game, for example, they said afterwards, like, oh, we were playing like our own game now. We were actually playing like how we were supposed to be playing, how we want to be playing. That felt a lot better. And then also, if you think about G2, the current reigning world champions, the first team to be sent home, that's, I think...
Where are you now, Fresh? Where's the smack talk now?
I remember this really great tweet that I read earlier from this like kind of analyst guy called Jesse. I don't know if you've ever heard about the guy. Have you heard about Jesse Chick? He tweeted, Gamers8, first team to go home with Gamers8. I thought that was pretty funny. I'll give you that one. But we also have El Habib, the save of today, because some of these matches were absolutely grueling and they had to go down to the wire. So let's have a look at what that has for us in store, because we did pick the M80 up against Nipclip.
Yeah, this is going to be back on border, map number 1. You know, this was kind of coming at a point in time in the game where it really felt like NIP were starting to steal back momentum. Obviously, very dominant game to come through, favoring M80 throughout the majority of this match. But this goes down to a 1v1. We really start to see things fall apart for M80. They do not have the dominant position for the majority of this round, but as you see, he gets down to the 2v2, we're gonna get the position in, and I really love the way that we see DS position himself when he gets to the 1v2 now. His teammate falls, that's gonna be a bit of a problem for him, but he sneaks around, they have no idea where he's at, looking for that player with the defuse kit. He's gonna find it, and then he backs off, runs to the other side of the map, make sure he gets out of there, and then this post plant coming in from Cons, you'll see it. I think he plays it poorly, but the reason why, it's not even a post plant, the reason why he's gonna go for this and he's so worried, because he just doesn't know where this guy is. He's gotta sprint and race for that kill, but the positioning is so good from DS, he just doesn't have the intel.
Yeah, it's a really good save, and obviously a 101 on how to win your clutches. If you can constantly reposition yourself, if you allow yourself to take those 1v1s, exactly what Diaz did, and you don't really give away your position in that case, that's how you're going to win your 1vx situations, and that's exactly what Diaz did there. Textbook.
Yeah, everybody take notes. Make sure you apply them to your ranked games, because maybe you can win some as well. But we also have the ALG play of the day, just to highlight how some of these players have really shown up in those moments when it mattered the most.
And how could it be anything else? Right? This is...
oh, goodness.
We're only day 1. I feel pretty confident saying this will be the play of the tournament.
All right.
Wow.
Making big statements.
That'd be really good for Kino, though. I mean,
yeah,
considering the awards and everything.
Yeah,
but
the MVP award coming in clutch as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, that first shot on the Wizard, very tough to hit with the SMG-11, and then brings out the shotgun. That Kino should be looking for it, probably. Second guy doesn't have a shot at all from that range with a shotgun, finds the headshot, and then even once we get down to the 1v1, you know, it's not an easy decision to just like go in, stick that defuse kit, you know, there's a lot of pressure. He could get off it, he has the time, he sticks it, confident in himself, and he wins the round.
It comes down to so many little things working in the favor of M80 as well. That single barricade on the living door, for example, if that was open, maybe you would have had time to sprint in, get the secondary out, shoot the person behind the shield, for example. All these small things really working in their favor. Obviously, that huge play from Kino as well, but definitely deserved. And that was momentum shifting as well, you could say.
Oh, yeah.
Momentum shifting, and it very clearly went in their favor because they do win that matchup of today, and they are the first team to be heading straight into the playoffs. So they get a day off, as you said as well earlier, Jesse, which is going to be very important because tomorrow we're going to see a lot of interesting games, and they kind of can literally just sit by the pool in the hotel and take notes. I would do that if I was them.
Last night, I know Dave was taking a bit of a dip, okay? So they brought their swim trunks, okay? They're well prepared.
They're ready. They're here for the long run. Going to go to those finals. But so does BDS, because BDS today, we've seen them play against Oxygen, and it was a very one-sided affair. So they are yet to drop a map. M80, they have dropped 2 maps already, one to G2, one to Ninjas and Pyjamas. So maybe not the undefeated streak that they can repeat from BDS last year. But all in all, it's already so clear that from day 1, the competition here is so fierce, and every single team is giving their absolute all to be able to go all the distance.
Except for G2. Womp womp.
Yeah, G2. Why are you
rubbing that in? After the BDS Oxygen game, I deserve it. All right,
yeah, but you're also rubbing it into G2, and they've tried really hard.
Well, yeah, it is tough for G2. You know what? But they're world champions. They'll get over it.
You're literally like Turkey's twin. So like, how can you do that to your twin?
Canadian Doki. He shoots better than me. Slightly.
Yeah, but NA didn't really do that well today, so. It's like you gotta weigh it up, right? Do you want to dash it out to G2? Do you want to take the heat on an A? Like, which one are you preferring?
Why not both?
But all in all, tomorrow we have some great matchups. So is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to? Personally, for me, the elimination match is kind of where I would have my eyes upon, because it would be really interesting to see the rematch between Ninjas in Pyjamas and Falcons, considering the interview that we had as well earlier today, where Ninjas in Pyjamas said, well, that's not what we expected.
Yeah, we have a lot of different things coming up tomorrow. Obviously, the rematch between Ninjas in Pyjamas and Team Falcons, where Falcons say like, oh, we were now finally playing how we were wanting to play. And then in Group B, we have the upper bracket final between BDS and W7M, who are both yet to drop a map in this tournament. So that will happen for the first time. One team will drop a map in that case. And then on the other side, Oxygen versus Cyclops, who were yet to win a map in this tournament. That will obviously change for them too. So I feel like two other sides of the spectrum that we have tomorrow for those two matches.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things to be looking forward to, and I am really excited to see the amount of siege that we're going to be looking at today, because it will be the same schedule as today, where we have 3 best of 3s across both streams, so you can tune in and make sure you have 2 monitors, because I'm sure you needed that today. Thank you guys for tuning in for today. We're going to be back tomorrow, so have a lovely evening, and we'll see you guys.